If it bounces, I'm taking it. But at this point, it is all red on Qualcomm, which was up over 20% at one point.
Oh boy, Qualcomm. Okay, yeah, me and Neil, good day today. We'll enjoy or
no,
not.
No, I'm not going to enjoy it.
No, come on, let's play the game, man. We're going to enjoy tilapia.
I'm not going to.
All right. I'm gonna try to look like half glass full. Today will be the best tilapia they have ever provided.
It's protein.
Okay, see, Neil?
Yeah.
Now you're turning around. Okay,
protein,
there we go.
Right?
There we go.
Protein
Finally,
in your diet.
There we go. Finally wearing off. AMD? Yeah, you guys go over AMD. We're going to come on that right now. AMD going nuts.
Oh, no, there's news.
Yeah. So they're going to go nuts on this. We're $1.50 in the money on NVIDIA. Yeah, there's news about AMD, so make it a little more exciting. Let's go over to the midday right now or to Adara. It's your choice, Andres. Ciao for now.
Here at the Department of Energy, U.S. Department of Energy forming a $1 billion partnership with AMD to build 2 supercomputers. Now, in case you guys were not aware, we did have AMD already having, AMD here going to be a watch here with this U.S. Department of Energy forming a $1 billion partnership with AMD to build 2 supercomputers. We know Intel, competitor of AMD, actually has an equity deal there with the U.S. government. So AMD looks like this is the next one to jump into the fold. Again, U.S. Department of Energy, $1 billion AMD partnership. Back to you.
Oh no, Joey, we didn't load up the.
Boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the midday show. There is your boy Joey Options, who's like, all of a sudden he's got energy. He was complaining about a headache all morning.
I still got it, man. But
now he's all good.
It.
Joey, let's cut the crap. All right. We're doing it live right now. We didn't mean this to happen. We didn't mean for it to happen, but I kind of don't mind it. Shout out to the Burgundy boys starting out the morning here. Let's see who's joining us. I forgot to load up the what's it called? The chat, because your friend Ram there was really taking her time with the video.
Good job.
I love you, Ram.
Yeah, she's fun.
I'm just joking, girl. All right, let's shout everybody out. Joseph, officially unburdened. We got FF.
Oh, officially?
We got KC, Trent Stores. We got Gorev, James Murray, Kai, Lexi, Chase the Packs. Shout out to Fresh Trades and Brown Lighting, Travman in the house as well as Philip S. and Dude V. We got Durant Gordon, Shyam Bhutani, Izmir, TH, KC. Get it, boys. We got, who else, man? We got Puka. We got Joe Mama, Roberto, something or another, Jeffrey Cardoza, and Nygaard Odyssey Flights. I know color shirts, brother. We got Matt Marine and Big 40 nephew Mike P. D. Ryder. We got HTX Trader. Shout out to Yummy Thai Foods and Andrew Chow, Gary F. and Buffalo Soldier. Hope everybody had a fantastic weekend, Joseph. It was a pretty good weekend in the city over here. I mean, we didn't really have in the way of hot weather. I know you like that, but we got some sun, baby.
We did, yeah. Sunday was absolutely gorgeous.
We already addressed it, Assassino. We're called the Burgundy Boys today, Assassino.
Just call, you can call me Ron Burgundy if you want. Ron Burgundy. Shreve, you don't even know who Ron Burgundy is?
I know who Ron Burgundy is, bro. I'm not that crazy. I was about to drop the R word there. I got dinged by you.
Ron Burgundy?
From with the Anchorman. Come on now, Joey.
Just making sure. Whoop.
Get it, Katina Man. What's going on over there, Katina? The Katina Man's long AMD, guys. Yeah.
Oh, this is crazy. All right, guys, never mind all that. We'll get into our trades here momentarily, but I want to bring this up. The algo. The algo picked it up. Bang, there goes AMD.
Hold on, the algo picked it up?
Yeah, it picked it up with on the signal.
Right now.
It's out now. Hit the 2-to-1 profit target.
Picked it up.
Bang, bang, bang. Adara, what do you got for us?
I want to take a look here at the market because I do have some comments coming from Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum. She's saying that apparently Mexico is close to reaching a U.S. deal on non-tariff barriers and that the U.S. is actually extending its trade deadline for several weeks. Now, again, in case you guys missed it here for AMD, Bloomberg reporting here that the Department of Energy is forming a $1 billion partnership with the company to build 2 supercomputers. So, again, Department of Energy reportedly forming a $1 billion partnership with AMD to build 2 supercomputers. That's the deal with AMD. And then, of course, keep an eye here on comments from Claudia Sheinbaum, President of Mexico. Apparently, these U.S. trade talks seem to be reaching some kind of positive conclusion. Back to you.
Yeah, go cover it. Joey,
all right,
go ahead,
yeah,
brother.
No, all right, guys, yeah, let's get into the trades of the day here. I mean, we were looking for a long on Bitcoin. That wasn't the case, so we strike out at the plate there. It's like Vladdy when you got runners on the corners.
Oh,
so
seriously, bro?
Yeah, I'm
You're
sorry.
just going to crap on him
I
like
didn't
that?
mean to. Yeah, I take it back. I'm sorry. I apologize. I take that. Actually, I don't take it back. The double champ apologizes to no one. No, I'm obviously being sarcastic. No, but in all seriousness, guys, attempt one, looking for that break, didn't get it. Attempt two, boom. I'm like, all right, let's be a little bit more patient. Yeah, then we Devin Haney this over here, which is okay, no problem. And then we take another attempt, no go. So slightly red on IBIT, but then we get Tesla rocking and rolling for us earlier in the morning, putting us nicely green on the session, engulfing all of those losses on IBIT. Joe Onwin says party P, and then now we're on the reload with Tesla, but if it cracks VWAP, then we'll just hop out of that trade. But it's looking pretty good so far. AMD has been absolutely nuts. I showed you guys the algo earlier today. It didn't pick up the NVDA one because specific criteria. I can't release that to you. It is a good signal, not too bad of a look, but that AMD news dropping is absolutely massive. Let's see if some of these other names are going to continue to rally. What was it, Qualcomm? Phenomenal, going on a big time move this morning as well, too, guys.
Yeah, man, the semis have been they've been hot all day.
Yeah, bro.
Since we started basically the morning, guys. I want to let you know that about 78.5, only 78.5 of the viewers watching 78.5% of the viewers watching right now are subscribed. That means 21.6% of you guys are not. Obviously hurts the algorithm, guys. So if you could do us this one solid, as Kramer asked George back in the day, hit that subscribe button, guys. We'd be immensely in your debt if you did that. I don't really know. Joey covers stats for me pretty good there. So hopefully he'll be.
What did you say? I didn't even hear what you said.
I'm talking about the AEO thing. I'm just shooting.
Oh, yeah.
Things,
how's that doing?
It's trending back up, maybe. We bottomed out.
Oh, yeah? You think so?
Yeah, no,
what was the price? Sorry,
26. I'm still far off that level.
What are you at right now? Oh, there goes Tesla.
All right, get it, Joe.
Bang, 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 bang. A nice on the reload there, guys. Let's see if we can go and test that high of the day. A big time move in Tesla on the reload. So let's see if we're actually, you know what? May as well, man. I'm going to take a little bit off up here, guys. It's going to move my average up drastically, but that's okay. Bang. Take that little off, reload off on Tesla and see if we can go and approach the high of the day. That's my goal. I think IBIT might start to fill a little bit of its gap here in today's session, but AMD has been absolutely phenomenal. We hit the 2-to-1 profit target on the algo, and then we have NVDA moving towards the high of the day as well, too, guys. So a lot rocking and rolling this morning. I'm looking at ASST. Who was it? You said Dollar Sales Solutions. Joe, did you get poked in the eye this weekend? Why am I not in ASST? I'm assuming that's a Cyril Gone Tom Aspinall reference right there. Double eye poke, Sharif.
That's crazy. I have no idea what you're talking about here. I just know the double eye poke from the Three Stooges.
You know how to defend a double eye poke?
Like this? Yeah, I watch the Three Stooges, baby. I know it's good.
All right, let's take a little bit more. Let's take a little bit more off on this Tesla trade. A big time move, man. The ultimate defense of the double eye poke is that right there. I'm glad that my guy picked that one up. We love that one. Shout out to the UFC, probably the greatest sport on the planet.
That's crazy. I couldn't believe when you actually told me. Number one, it was that early in Saudi because I didn't even know it was in Saudi. Number two, that it ended early.
That was a good day. I love it, man. I wake up in the morning, hit the gym, UFC's
right
on.
After.
Oh,
that's how I feel about the Prem, bro.
You
get up like
it's
that's
a Saturday
completely
morning.
Different dynamic in North America than it is in Europe, right?
That's
like if you wake
crazy.
up and you go right into the Prem Saturday morning. All right, let's get right down to it, ladies and gents. GSIT. I'm involved in this one. Several profit takers into the area high over there, but it is alas, it is breaking back down now. We're about break even. Show me 27s. I've got 30s on. I've built my position here based upon that 10 EMA on the 5. I'm talking about GSIT trading on the NQ about 21.5%. It's got to hold up here. Otherwise, we're going to clear out this one and then maybe get back in and around the volume weighted average price. So let's talk about what else I got going on. Let's talk about the biggest and the baddest right now, DZZ. This thing's up 135%. It's got some bottoming tails, though, that breach VWAP. We are trading above VWAP right now into 8.5, looking to take out 875. But it's number one, it's a multiple halter. It's just really hard to gauge where support and resistance is on this one, and it doesn't spend any discernible amount of time in one area to give you time to make a decision. I just want to take out some profits here, possibly at on GSIT, but going back to DZZ, this one is blocked in our system, at least for the moment, until a trader can place one of the managers, and then they unblock it. So for the moment, we'll be able to only, outline the levels of support and resistance on it. We won't be able to execute, hopefully sooner rather than later, though. DZZ. I'm also looking at DVLT. Look, this is a holdover from Friday. It had a fantastic day Friday. It's okay. It's not great. It's got higher lows and higher highs on the day. So if you're a trend following swing trader and you're holding this, you're pleased. If you're like me and you're an intraday small cap gapper trader, you're like, bro, figure it out. Yeah. Right now, it's got a double bottom through the volume weighted average price, and it's trying to reclaim the 10 EMA on the 5. If it closes above the 10 EMA on the 5, I'm going to get back in. I'm 0 for 1 on DVLT, full disclosure, looking to exact some more revenge on this one if possible. MIND, not MindMed. This is a different one, but it's got a decent, respectable trend for the most part. It finds support at the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart with a 1203 high. Very few breaches of this 10 EMA. Alas, though, it is a little illiquid. So I haven't had a quick look at the spread yet, but just based upon how it's trading on the chart right now, it looks like it's a bit of a wider one. Last but not least here, before we go back to your boy Joey options, SMLR. Not bad. A bit more expensive and looking like a possible head and shoulders right now, but I'd like to see this one take out $30. Decisively, that is. And then I could get back into this one, for a $31 break. It's got support right now at the volume weighted average price in and around $29. It's up 23%, but it's about $30. So you're gonna have to, manage your risk a little bit differently than you would obviously with a $2 or $3 name. So GSIT, Joey, that's really the one I'm involved in right now. I'm displeased with the umpteen amount of lower highs we're putting in on the 5. Since the candle at 1045, every subsequent 5-minute candle has been a lower high. This current candle that we're on the 5-minute, the 1110 candle, is the first one in a while to actually have a higher low. So looking for continuation above 1145, and here we are. Show me 45s now. We got 29s on. There it goes into 48s, 49s. It's not crossing, Joey, so we won't get the print, but we do have shares on, so we'll be able to wet the beak, bang, into that. Looking for the $0.50 break now. Let's go, GSIT. Knocking on that 50 penny. There goes 55s, Joey. Here we go, GSIT, 63 penny high. I'm looking to take out that level. We got shares. Let's see if we can actually take out maybe 12 on this one.
Bang, love it, love it, love it. It's time for us to post up a little bit here on TSLL, guys. Bang. All right, so we're going to post up at 21s to see if we can catch that fill. We also have one at 2110s, but that reload looking really nice. But first and foremost, our guy, Adam James, healing pain naturally. $2 super chat.
Get it,
the
Joey.
Energy and love between these two is awesome. Bang, 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 bang. We love
all
it,
real,
man.
baby.
All real. Man, this guy messes
Joey,
me last
I gotta
night.
interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
GSIT is breaking out, guys. Here we go into the high of the day. We got 20s on. It just took out 74s, Joey. It's on the rampage to the high side. Look for the squeeze into 12. There's 82. There's 88, Joey. We're doing it freaking live. We're going to post at 95s now. Let's see where we can get a little bit above that 12. So we're going to put 1201 just to say, we got something above $12. But the breakout is on right now. Keep your eye on this name. Look for a 12 rejection initially, though, as profit takers take profit, of course, at that whole dollar level. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no worries. Rocking and rolling, man. All right, so there we go on Tesla. We're posted up again. I think at this pace, guys, we might go and test the high of the day. I'm really tempted to take another long here on IBIT just because I'll go small size, considering I've taken 3 losses on it, and I don't want to be giving too much back, so I just want to get involved in case it wants to rally. The volume is really starting to pick up, and I like that. There you go. Neil even confirms IBIT breaking wedge as well too. So a lot going on that front. Let's see if we can get this fill at 21 here on Tesla. And I think with AMD, you want to be patient and wait for these pullbacks. That volume spike was insane and extremely strong. So, I mean, pullback and then the continuation, hopefully in that long, with the likes of NVDA going to go and test the intraday high. ASST, to be honest with you, I don't think this isn't price action that I love. Bang, there goes the fill on Tesla. You guys seen that one happen live. But I don't love this whatsoever, full disclosure. I mean, it can break out. Let's zoom out a little bit here and get more of an idea of what's going on. Yeah, this isn't me. This is Sharif, but I don't even think Sharif would like this one, to be honest with you, just considering the price action here. No, but it is above the volume weighted average price. I think that's the only thing that has going for it right now. So not necessarily in play. Now we're waiting for that 2110 fill on Tesla. As soon as it breaches this pivot, then bang, we're catching another one there. Actually, I'm going to take that one off because I think it's for a little bit more size than what I'm looking for. But there it is. IBIT breaking through as well too, guys, so not too bad of a look. Let's pull up our options chain and see what we got going on that front with the likes of Tesla and IBIT. We're going to head over. Oh, yeah, that was looking to buy some contracts. I was talking to a couple of the lads in the chat, Party P. Oh, my God, there goes Tesla. Another big time pop there, Sharif. We take that 2110 fill. Oh yeah, that's what we're talking about, my brother. Never mind this. Get off IBIT. We don't want to see this garbage, Sharif. We want to go over to Tesla, even though it did climb back up to 115. I'm like, yes, oh my God, Tesla is breaking out, Sharif, like there's no tomorrow. And I'm still on the options chain. Joseph, get off of it. What are you doing? We got to go and see what's going up there. Bang! Punches through the high of the day. I don't even know. Pull a tank. This is madness. Hit the stone cold. Do everything, man. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Stair-stepping volume on the 5-minute time frame. This is exactly what we want to see. Bang, bang, bang. Beautiful move up on Tesla, up 4% on today's session, guys. All right, Corey Ewing. You got it?
I just want to get to Nicole's first because Nicole.
Oh, I didn't see Nicole's there. Drop Nicole's then.
All right, Nicole wants to talk about DNUT. She's got calls, Joey.
Oh.
So shout out to Hotlanta first and foremost. Hi guys, can you look at DNUT? I have 5 calls, so I'm going to look at the TA for her, Joey, if that's cool.
Yeah.
And then obviously you're the options guy, so I was hoping you could give her an honest look at the options chain. I like it, Nicole. We breached the 200 last week. We were on the way to kind of holding that $5 area last. It was a look, it was an interesting volume day. 125 million shares, sorry, 140 million shares traded place on the 22nd, which is when it had its big $5 day. Look, it ended up closing red, so we gave back some. But look at this. I like the fact that we're holding up that 3 1/3. And the closing prints more around that $4 area. So we got another higher low today. We got a higher high versus Friday. And guess what? This candle's green. So we could easily see a squeeze in the next few days. I'll see how Joey feels about the options chain about this. But I feel we could get into that 460, 490, even $5 area on DNUT. You got a bit of a bull flag breakout. Having broken out on the 21st, you had a monster day on the 22nd with that 5.5 move, but you didn't give up the majority of the move. It wasn't that Christmas tree retracement where it's green on one side and red on the other. You're kind of consolidating sideways, Nicole. So I don't think this is all that bad. I want to see what Joey has to say, though, about some resistance levels that you might face on the options chain.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have the chain up here. I know there's a lot of people tagging me in the chat, so let's just go over. I don't know when. I want to read a little bit more on this super chat here, Sharif, if there's more detailed. Hey, guys, can you look at DNUT IFI? Well, I thought you would say, like, hey, I'm in on this specific day or something like that. Unfortunately, we didn't get any of that information, guys. When we're trading options and you guys are super chatting, I love the fact that you are, much appreciated, but the more detailed, the better, right? And I don't even know what to say about Tesla right now because it's going insane. But this is what you have to pay attention to, is this. Right? Like your at the money IV is at 202%. So that's a lot. That's substantial, okay? So essentially what's going to happen is day by day, that's going to slowly start to cool off. That type of implied volatility is really hard to be sustained. Now let's pull up the actual technicals, and that way we can correlate on what's going on. But again,
Did you see this Tesla headline?
Morgan Stanley's
whatever Adam Jonas, or who was this guy? Jonas. declaring robo-taxi a breakthrough. He says, I'm calling it.
What does that mean?
Like, I'm assuming like that he's calling that it's
going to be huge.
This is Morgan. This is not just...
Yeah. This ain't, that ain't your average Joe right there, for sure. No, big time move. And I mean, like, this isn't crazy. I think the volatility on DNUT is coming from here. But my issue now is that
I got the data for you. I got in today, $5 calls at $5 calls at 10, went to 23, now 18.
Oh, okay.
That's the
did she say expiration or anything along those lines?
No.
Okay. Yeah, you just have to keep, like, the further you go out, the less volatile it is. Like, so we go to May 15, 200 days from now, and it essentially cuts the IV in half. So that way you might be okay, but just be cautious when you're buying contracts. Those are things that I specifically look for. I don't care about some of the other Greeks, but Vega, your implied volatility is extremely important, because if you're buying names in heightened volatility, then you're going to screw yourself unless they move significantly quick, right? So we went over last week an example on Tesla. So we had the exact same strike price on 2 calls of the days, that little segment that I do in the morning. And essentially what happened is the implied volatility was cut in half. And it was the exact same strike price, and you lost 40% of the value of the contract after the stock moved like $20 intraday. So essentially you made nothing on a $20 move just due to the fact that implied volatility was cooling off. So I think that's it's not necessarily a trick of the trade, but something you definitely have to keep an eye on. And obviously I wish the best for you on that specific contract. So good luck, and then just document it. Note it. If it doesn't work out, then be like, hey, what did I do wrong there? And that's going to probably be the case. So now Corey Ewing, Sharif, my guy, thoughts on ASST? Bought a position Friday with 2,000 shares. Also, DPRO is back in play after a quiet week. Your thoughts? One more thing here, Sharif.
Do it, Joey.
We have a couple more outs on Tesla. I'm only sitting on literally 2%. So this is just a runner here to see if we can run into 2150, 2170 on TSLA.
All right, before we get to GSIT, GSIT, guys, really taking it out now. 1214 high. We got 20s on. I've got a profit taker waiting at 25s. We're up 30%. Let's see if it can hold 12. It breached 12, but not that much, right? 1214, that's not really a decided breach, pardon me, of that $12 area. But let's take a look at Corey's question there with ASST. Let me just pull this up so I can get a good look. Sharif, my guy, thoughts on ASST? Bought a position Friday, 2,000 shares. Also DPRO back in play after a quiet week. Sounds good. Let's look at ASST first. What's the trend looking here on ASST? Yeah, so a little bit off the lows, not bad. You form a base around 75 pennies. Now you're breaking out above the dollar. I like how we closed above the dollar on Friday, and we closed near the high. So we got into about a 140 high. We ended up closing about a $1.24, $1.23. Today, we got higher lows, higher highs, but it's forming into a doji candle right now with 150 as the current print, 178. The high of day, I believe, 178, 178, yes. So let's see what this one's done in the past. So lower highs, certainly there. It does typically find resistance off the 10. So the fact that we're breaking above the 10 EMA on the 5 is actually quite interesting in and of itself, because look at all these prints over here. Let me just allow me to go back, save and except for this area over here. When we got to 9 and 10, we've been basically rejecting the 10 EMA. So it could be an interesting squeeze, possibly into the 50, right around $3, give or take. That would obviously necessitate a big move past 2. That would be my first area of resistance I'd be looking for. And we held 2, especially these days, October 7th, 8th, and 9th. We held 2 generally as a support level. I'd be looking for 2 to act as resistance if we continue to run up and take out that high day today. So keep your eye out on that. But other than that, I got to tell you, Corey, obviously looking at the chart on ASST, it's a bit of it's a bugger, right? Because it has these outsized days and then typically gives back a lot of the move. And Yeah, that is the all-time highs that we got to back in March of 2023. But this one did have a 1-to-5 split back in July of 2024. So keep that in mind as well. I don't think this is all that bad. Up another 37.25% today. I'd be looking for 2 initially, Corey, and then if we can squeeze in a 3 where the 50 is, I think that might be a good move there. Just before we go to Adara, guys, GSIT failed. 12, and now it's right back above into 12.10. Look out for that 14 penny break, 12.14, high of the day. We're going to the big desk.
Keep an eye here in KDP, Keurig Dr. Pepper. This is an earnings day one play. It looks like the conference call is happening right now. An executive from the company is saying that the company might consider monetizing select non-core minority stakes and non-strategic brand assets. They're also apparently considering evaluating a partial IPO of their beverage company to begin their separation process. So some evaluations in play here with regards to monetization of core minority assets and even a potential partial IPO of their beverage side of things. So keep an eye here on KDP with that conference call. Back to you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. There, another $2 super chat. Joe, OB went to go long in GLD 400 for 2026. Let's take a look at that, my friend. On GLD, yeah, we took another fill there on Tesla. This thing has been going crazy here today. A really nice move. This is essentially what we were looking for on Friday. So a big time recovery in Tesla. But yeah, let's take a look at gold. You want to go 2026 at the money IV, really, really cool. But let's head over to that expiration cycle, January. We'll give it a little bit of room there because you're looking to buy 400, 420, which is extremely out of the money. So I'm assuming you know what you're looking to do there. 19%, 400s. I don't know if you're thinking about a spread or anything along those lines, but if you're going that far out, I don't think you necessarily need to. $7 for those? Still, okay, that's pretty crazy. And then, I mean, you can pay half the price if you are looking to write that 420. Let's pull up the actual underlying chart on GLD. I mean, a lot of us are feeling a little bit of FOMO considering we've missed this big time run in gold. I thought after this move here from early 23 to this consolidation in the middle of the year, I thought that we were going to most definitely be pulling back a little bit, but no, you have this extra leg of extension, and then now you're starting to come in a little bit aggressively, down roughly 10%, about a little bit less, 9.5. I like gold. Just wait for that pullback. The at the money IV is relatively cool. So if you're looking to average in, as I typically say, don't go all in at once, right? You just want to build, build, build. And if you're looking for an options expiration that far out, then you're fine enough to do so. If it does continue to bleed, do we come back into 314s? I don't think so. So at some point you may get that turnaround 350s, maybe even 3.25, I think, but I don't think you get all the way down to 314, even though that's not too far away. But yeah, I like gold a lot considering the Chinese love gold too. So they're just gonna keep buying that stuff up. Let's see what everybody else in the chat is up. Yeah, go ahead, man.
MPLT, a new IPO today. Shout out to Chase the Pack for pointing this one out to me. MapLight Therapeutics, Assassino, indicated to open at $18. The IPO price, $17. So let me just see if there's any more information on this. I should have some, just have to look through the different blotter. So right now we're seeing the theoretical auction price on MPLT, $18.54. So higher than the 18. Oh, well, this one indicated at 1047 that it was showing 23, so a little bit lower than that. I don't know too much about it. Let's see what Morgan Stanley has to say. They're acting as managers for the offering. Morgan, Jeffries, and Lierink partners, as well as Stifel, acting as some of the managers there for the IPO. Just trying to see how many shares. Okay, so here we go. MapLight Therapeutics quoting 2750. Again, that's not new on 170,000 shares. Let me look at my my imbalance locator. I got to load up that one right there. So we got to find the imbalance locator. Show yourself imbalance locator. Where do you go? History log. That's not the one, Joey. We want the imbalance locator. I'm looking. History log. Symbols list. Summary. What's the imbalance? Oh, there it is. Got it. Okay, so let's load that one up. Let's see exactly what we're looking at here. We'll go NQ on it because this is a NASDAQ name. Just allow me a second, guys.
Yeah.
And let's filter by size. So it's MPLT. I'm not quite seeing it now on the size. Let's look by paired volume. MPLT. I can't really see it on the top here, guys, so I'll have to go down and look for it. But yeah, this one is going to be on the air. It is. Tune of 26,000, 27,000 and a half, essentially. I'll keep you guys apprised on it. It doesn't seem like it's a big mover quite yet, or it's going to be a big name. If it is, obviously we'll get involved. I have no qualms about that. So yeah, I just want to give you that one. CODX as well, small cap gapper. This one, you know, up 148%, but it suffers from the affliction of trading below the dollar, despite having made a valiant attempt at taking out that dollar. 95.29 high a day, trading below 90 now. For the most part, holding the 10 EMA on the 5. It does have deeper retracements into VWAP. VWAP right now showing me 75 pennies, so a deeper retracement into 75 likely gets me into the trade. So I want to point this one out. CODX, Joey, continuing to trade. We're keeping an eye on GSIT as it gets back into that $12 area. We're going to pause for the moment, though. We're sending it to Adara for the crypto segment.
BTC here, poised for 5 straight days of upside, though right now struggling to hold on to that 116,000 level. Now, 116,000 was a little bit of an area of resistance going back to 2 weeks ago to the date, Monday, October 13th. So let's see if we're able to reclaim that 116,000 and continue to push a little bit higher on Bitcoin, which again, despite that now 5-day winning streak, still a little bit removed here from all-time highs around 126,000. Now, I do want to mention not one but 2 crypto names are going to be reporting earnings later this week, and of course, they're actually going to be the 2 major ones. That'll be Coinbase and MicroStrategy, or Strategy, MSTR. Strategy will be reporting at 4 p.m. on Thursday, October 30th. Coinbase at 4:10 the same day. MicroStrategy here, we're expecting losses of 11 cents per share and revenue of $118.2 million. But for Coinbase, we are expecting earnings of $1.16 per share on revenue of $1.72 billion. So again, not one but 2 crypto play is going to be on watch here with earnings day 1 on Thursday. Something to look forward to if you're trading some of these crypto names. Make sure to like and subscribe as we send you back to the Bash Brothers or Burgundy Brothers.
All right, thank you very much for that, Adara. All right, I got a question. I've been reading it over and over again here. Sorry, guys, I got a headache, man. I was suffering again all weekend, so I'm a bit confused on the prices of sold inputs. I sold the January 21st, 2028 $15 puts for $4.13 back when it was around $12.30 a share. Buy calls $2, both 15 strikes. Puts have not decreased. Okay, yeah, that's very interesting. I wish I could give you a better answer. I'd have to look a little bit more into this. This is 816 days away. So, I mean, the theta, well, actually, we can do this right now, considering. So we'll pull up the puts on it. You sold those. I mean, well, you sold them for $4.13. They're now worth $3.20. Oh. All right, so there you go. That's almost $1 right there, from what I'm looking at. But it's probably your calls that, maybe not though, because they should be appreciating as well too. So let me pull this up here for you, and we'll take a look at the profile. $3.20 for those. Let's put on the strategy build there. Hold on, we'll do it live, because price is appreciating. So they should slowly start to decrease, but you also have to take into consideration, this is like over 2 years out. So the theta on that is going to be absolutely minimal. Let's pull up the old profile ski on these specific ones and take a look at our theta. So yeah, I mean, it's not really going to decay, and if it is, it's going to be fractions of a cent probably, considering how far out they are. If you're looking to write, I wouldn't be writing that far out personally, unless you have the intention of owning them. I think maybe that's the route that you're looking for. But yeah, that's probably a big reason why is that it hasn't decreased drastically, is because they are drastically far out. There you go, a lot of drastically right there. But as for drastically, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
There goes IBIT on that breakout. Let's see if we can get this moving a little bit higher. I did want to add, we were going over some things. I only have one out on Tesla, so maybe we'll just hold this one for the dream. Okay. But not too bad of a look there, guys. I mean, we were slightly red on Friday, and at this point today, we're up about 50% higher than what we've lost there. Yeah, we got more super chats coming in. Much appreciated for that. But an ad opportunity in IBIT. Also, shout out to Party P for getting involved on some ETHA contracts. Haven't looked at Ethereum today either. But let's take a look at some of these super chats. Amanda, that 320 bit is my resting offer. Dang, all right, I see that. Let's go back to the fan funding. Dangerous says Feliz Navidad. Okay, NVTS bought Friday, sold pre-market short the open. Now buying my shares back. I'm lucky, dude, today. Bang. No, it's not luck, my friend. It is all skill. So shout out to Dangerous. Yeah, I went over that one there, Assassino. We did the gold one there, so thank you for pointing that one out. So yeah, not too bad of a look, guys. Some good trading all around, but you can see that the selling pressure is most definitely involved here on today's session with IBIT. You get that breakout from, 65.27, you go up to 65.43, and then it's met with some aggressive selling. Not too good of a not too good of a sign. So be patient to see if you can get somewhat of a recovery there, Sri.
All right. See the sign? Did it open up your eyes?
No, you probably gave me. Oh, I saw the sign.
Sorry.
Is this the sun? No, isn't it? I saw the sun.
Sign.
Is it sign?
Sign.
I thought it was sun.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. They're both good. The sun, the sign, they're both good signals, Joey. All right, Buvin, thank you, Buvin, for this, but I already saw this one, and I like it. I like the fact that you're looking at CODX. Wow, we got 94s. We just took out 98s. We're layering the orders now as we knock on the door of that dollar. Now, I do expect resistance in and around this area, of course. There's 98 again, seller at 98, big seller. Can't shake him for now. We're posting north of the dollar. We're looking for continuation, of course, above 98.91. That is the high of the day. Of course, I'm talking about decimal places, not $98.91. So let's see if we can get back above into that area. A new high a day takes us into 99 and change. Packing my patience on this one. I've got DCAs as well to get a bit more into that 90 penny area. It's held the 10 EMA quite well, but you never really know. Once you get into that dollar area and people start selling and or shorting at the whole dollar, psychological resistance, the 10 EMA may not be enough to hold up that descent. So we're going to have to keep an eye out on this one, as these small cap gappers below the dollar are a bit of a different beast. 94 is on at the moment. Still holding here, GSIT. So initially we're in at 20s, right? But we exhausted a lot of our shares. So this one pulls back into the 10 EMA on the 5. I get a bit more, looking for continuation now into the mid to high 80s. I'm actually posted up right here at 88. Should be getting the print as it's showing me 90s. All right, bro. Hey, the spread, I get it, but we're about 2 pennies above my spread, so it'll be just fabulous. Aces, if we can get the print there. No print so far. Looking for that move right back above 12 on GSIT. Packing my patience on this one. I also want to mention DVLT. I'm 0 for 1 on this one, but it is really holding up the the volume weighted average price quite well. Right at that 360 area, and has been doing so essentially since I got stopped out. Right to start the show there at, I want to say 11:05 or so. Let's see what DVLT has to offer. It seems to be finding a lot of resistance around that $0.75 area every time we wick into 375. We are met with some selling. So we'll see what the situation is there. Back to GSIT as we did add into this one at 80s. Now we just take out 88s. Here's 93. Looking for continuation back above 12. And there is 12 again. Nice. Posting up at 5, showing me 4s. We need a little bit higher here to get filled, and there it is, Joey, right back into the high of the day on GSIT. Could not be more pleased with this add into the 10 EMA on the 5. It holds up like a glove, and right back in we go. And I'm displeased here, because the high of the day is 12.25. I have my order at 25. You guys know my affinity for that number, and we don't get the print, not quite yet. So hopefully we'll get that. We'll get it sooner rather than later. Looking for that move now. And Joey, into the third of a dollar.
All right, cool stuff. Yeah, Clipwave, you keep saying that you've never traded options before. Can you help me with your first trade? But you have to let me know what you're looking at specifically. I can't just be like, hey, go and buy this. That's not how we operate in this neck of the woods, my friend. We can most definitely help you, but you have to give me an idea on what you're specifically looking at, what you want to buy, and we can go over those things. I did add into this IBIT trade, just in case it does want to break. We do have a trend line as well, too, guys, that we're forming consistent higher lows, which is something positive to look forward to. This volume uptick was something that wanted me to get involved one more time. So this is what happens, right? I told you 3 strikes at the plate, and I'm going against that rule. So let's see if it works out. I mean, hey, man, sometimes you got to do it, but sometimes you don't. We don't want to obviously be an advocate for that or anything along those lines because it's not good. But there goes Tesla. I have a little more to risk, right? Like if I was drastically red on the day, then there was zero chance I'd be taking this IBIT trade, but that's not the case. So I'm willing to put up some of my unrealized for Bitcoin to continue. Nice price action over the weekend. But yeah, I mean, look at this reload here on TSLA. What a beautiful, beautiful thing right there. And I wasn't even partaking in this opening drive. I waited until 55, right? 56, 956 to get involved. So boom, patience once again, and then you just get that big time reload. So a beautiful look there on Tesla, considering on yesterday's session.
Ridiculous.
Oh, that thing's going nuts?
It's going
nuts. Yeah,
it's
going nuts. 33% on the day. And Tesla, I mean, Tesla's up 5% today, my boy.
5.25, my G.
5.25, my G. Jays.
Oh,
and we got the Jays tonight, man.
It's been nice, Joey.
It's been a good time.
Lately,
it's been a good time, man. Yeah, it has. Frank, no call wall on Tesla until 500 exactly. IoT breakout we got there. Gorev long hood 3-minute candle. Okay, we like that. There's also a signal on AMD. AMD right above the volume, right below the volume weighted average price, which could be positive right there. So maybe we take small shares and get involved with that because Bitcoin doesn't know if it's coming or going right now. So we have to keep an eye on that. Street playing footsies with me.
That's your foot, bro?
That's crazy. We need the U.S. American border right here.
No, I got to stretch these legs, man. Obviously being sarcastic, but TSLA, this thing has been the trade of the day without any question. AMD coming back in a little bit here. It's ASST. Someone said, so Clipwave is like, hey, Joe, I want to buy some puts on ASST. Well, let's pull up the daily on this name and see if it's even worth it. And are we seeing anything that we like? Puts. Boom, 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 boom. What's going on? Wake me up at 462, says Ozan. Ozan was like, hey, Joe, I don't even know what I'm doing. Can you help me? I'm like, get out of here with that garbage, Ozan. Yeah, he's just rubbing it in, essentially, is what he's doing. Now, as for ASST, I'm going to have to say no unless you're just willing to lose the whole value of your puts. So you got 402% at the money IV, which is absolutely insane. You want to go further out, so give yourself to January, and we'll take a look at some of the ATMs. That's at the money, 50 cents. If you're willing to lose $50, let's pull up our profile here to see if it's even worth it. When do you become profitable on this trade? When it heads down to $1. I mean, yeah, the puts aren't putting right now, so I would avoid that at all costs. That's 53 days. But by all means, if you're looking to start in options, personally, start with just buying some calls and some strong names and things that are relatively cheap. Go with the flow. ASST is something I would not be buying any contracts in.
Man, when you said that "wake me up" thing, the first thing can you tell what song came into my head?
Wake me up when September.
That's a good one. Very good. Green Day. I like that. But that's not the one I was thinking about, Joey. Wake me up before you go.
Okay, so
I'm not
positive.
planning on going solo. Go CODX, man. Boom through one, Joey. 103 high a day. We were posting up at 105. It is a different trade right now at this $1 area. Let's cover that in a second because this one is all the hype. GSIT.
Ooh. Oh, you're there. You're there.
Been there, man. Wow. Been there. There goes GSIT into the high of the day. It's a 1267 high. It's on the rampage right now to the high side, of course. And I got to tell you, it's getting a little extended here for my liking anyway, because the 10 EMA on the 5 is south of 12, 1194 and change. This thing's trading at 1267. So I'd like to see a bit of a healthy pullback as people take profits and we rearrange the price action a little closer to the moving averages. So I'm keeping my eye on this one. I'm exhausted my shares right now on GSIT, but guess what? we're really interested in getting back in. I like that $0.25 area for a possible retracement. Maybe a $0.25 to about 15s. I see the breakout area to be in and around 20. We'll pack our patience there. Back now, though, into CODX, because we're zigging a little above $1, a little bit below the dollar, Joey, despite the fact that the high of the day is 103. Let's pack the patience over here and see what's up. Then I also want to shout out the OG Bovin, as I typically do on days like this, because there's a new small cap gapper that's halted to the upside, and it goes by the ticker MAMK. Yeah, it's MAMK. This one was moving, Assassino, on Friday as well. Take a look at that price action on the left. That is Friday's price action, and today we make higher lows and officially now higher highs, having taken out that 155 candle on Friday that got to 758 today. We're halted right now to the high side at 772. Oh my God, I have to interrupt. GSIT is on the rampage to the high side. It's about to take out 13. We're moving aggressively on GSIT. Some people are telling me in the chat that it's moving with Qualcomm. I have no idea. You know, I rarely look at these headlines for the small cap gappers. It's technicals or bust, baby. And this one is continuing to go as we knock on the door of 13. But to bring it back here to MAMK, halted at 772. Let's take an eye out here and see exactly what the halt level is, and when we're slated to open back up. MAMK on the NQ, halt. Okay, wow, the tap's already getting crazy above it. Look at that tap right there, Joey. We're halted at 772. It's showing me a tap of 1050. So this one's about to break loose. It's already up 46%. The halt time, guys, 11:39:13. So if it's going to be a 5-minute halt, it will open up. No, it should have opened up already because it's 11:45:20. So we are going to open up likely. If we open up at a 10-minute halt, it will be 11:49:13, having been the last print there, Joe. So that's what I'm looking at there. And then last but not least, we went the beak in the CODX at the high of the day, 105, 107, excuse me. We've got on, looking for more. We still have a couple of outs left on this one. Looking for a move back up north of 1.
Bang, 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 bang. Shout out to Chief Keef and Company. All right, there it is, guys. We're all out of Tesla. This was a big time move, man. We can't complain about this. Pop, 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 pop. A lot going on, and then we just unloaded the clip there. I was pretty heavy.
MPLT open.
Okay.
IPO's open.
Go ahead.
Yeah, here it is, Joey. Sorry to interrupt. MPLT is open, guys. This is a new IPO. It looks like we opened up right at 19, give or take, with a high of the day being around 20.90 or so. It's a wider spread, 20 on the bid, 40s on the ask over here. It's almost $1 there as it tightens up a little bit. MPLT on the NQ. New IPO, guys, up 18, 17%, zigging and zagging.
Bang. Yeah, good stuff there, Shreve. Thank you for pointing that one out. Let us know if you're trading ML or MPLT today on the session. So there it is, guys. We just get aggressive on that VWAP hold. Market was continuously grinding higher, and I'm like, let's take our chances here on Tesla. So I just go full size right out of the gate. We piece it out all the way up here. Patience, patience, patience. And then you get the reload, and guess what? When it works really well because we get the bigger leg. This is essentially the larger, the second leg is essentially larger than the first one, and then we get all out at the break of trend and that curl over right there. So a beautiful look in Tesla. And I mean, I've traded 2 names on the day. It's been Bitcoin and TSLA. It's kind of funny to think that, like, hey, Bitcoin looking phenomenal over the weekend, and then you come into the actual trading hours, Sharif, and then it's do something. Hit the do something. Assassino. Yeah, poke him. Like, just do something, man. We're waiting for it. Bang. Like,
there he is.
Yeah, I mean, like, get rocking and rolling. This is what kind of keeps me from just, like, not getting heavily involved just yet. I like what Party P is doing, but I do believe there's going to be a chance for a pullback. I love that we're holding 110. That means buyers are engaged, or sorry, 100,000, I should say. But other than that, man, patience is really key. Amazon has been phenomenal. I told you guys I was in that swing from last week, and I've seen it gap up to 228, and I'm out at 222. And I mean, it is what it is, right? You got to be accepting of the profits that you're willing to take. No one else is forcing me to push these buttons but myself. So at the end of the day, we just take that profit and then we look for that next potential trade. The only move Bitcoin on Good Sunday. Yeah, I know. Good on Sunday is what you're saying, essentially.
You know that. You and I always talk about
on
this.
Sunday.
The big moves are always
on Sunday.
These obscure pure times.
It's like the Asian market opens
bro.
up and then it just decides to continue to climb higher.
Even gold. I mean, you and I talked about this as well. We kept seeing gold make the moves in the European and the Asian session. I wonder why.
I wonder who's buying it over there.
Central banks.
We don't know
maybe?
anybody buying it over there. Hit that siren on that one there. But yeah, no, in all seriousness, guys, these are the names that I'm currently looking at. Is AMD going to break trend? And is IBIT going to break trend? We have ASST. I obviously had this little stutter step there on that one. But no, in all seriousness, guys, I don't think that's overly in play on today's session. We'll go over some of our scanners momentarily in the top performing sectors. But what I got going on is hopefully that we get this IBIT breakout. And best believe, I'm going to add to this position.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to add to this position substantially, Shreve. Why? Okay. Because we did take a couple hits, but if it decides to get going, we want to participate, and we want to participate aggressively because, I mean, we're rocking and rolling on Tesla, so why not? Shout out to why not in the chat, Shreve. That's all I got going on. I'll let you go over what you got going on, and when we get back to me, we're going to run through the scanner, we'll run through the algo, and we'll take a look at the top performing sector.
Oh, I thought you were flipping off the
It was Go Power Rangers.
Go Power Rangers, you mighty morphin Power Ranger. Bro, I'm in a very singing mood today. The chat's probably going to shut this off very, very soon. But there goes CODX into another high of the day. It is now at 110 HOD. I'm looking for a little bit more here. I'm looking for 15s, a random area, mind you. I didn't chart this 15 area, but I'm looking for continuation now and a hold above the dollar. Now, if this one squeezes and moves past the dollar, let's say 120, 125, then I'm going to start using the dollar area as a good area of support. But there is a prohibitively large seller at 9s, despite the fact that we've gotten into 10s. The dude at 9 is getting decimated. The dude at 10 is also, while he's throwing in some orders there, some large size coming in at 10s. So we're likely going to find sellers at every penny here now that we're above the dollar, better than finding at every 10th of a penny, which is what the case is below the dollar. So big seller here at 10s, we can't shake them. Likely going to have to retrace a bit before we get into that another high of the day. CODX, the one I'm talking about there, let's see if it holds trend with higher highs and higher lows. Current candle, 110 high. Prior candle, 110 high. So we'll see if we end up double topping there. Most notably, though, what I'm going to be looking for in this current 5-minute candle is a higher low. So the prior 5-minute candle, the one that closed at 1145, has a low of 99.40. So I'll be looking for the current candle to hold above that, ideally above the dollar. Let's not forget, though, about GSIT. Topping tail candle into an ominous price, Joey, 13.13. I want nothing to do with that level right there. I am very, very superstitious, in case you can't tell. And here comes this one down. I like this one, as I mentioned earlier, 1220 to 1225. I perceive this area around over here, bottom of your screen there where I'm doing the circle, to be the breakout level. Let's see what GSIT has to offer. The 10 EMA, by the way, is also at that 20 penny area, which gives us another, sort of extra layer of support, given the price action is also around there. So that's what I'm looking at right now, GSIT and CODX. But I got another one for you guys. So I mentioned, of course, MPLT, the Bovin special there. That's the IPO. But look at this one, Joey. SUPV. We're up 51.86%. And I happen to love this chart. Look at that 4 a.m. spike. The DGens wake up very early, Joey, like myself. I get in, I sesh early, but some other people, they're going to wake up early and punch, and I can respect that more, or turn on their algos.
Hold on,
hold on. I got something to say. Hold on, man. Hold on. This guy wants to take it from me already. So hold on. We pop up here on SUPV right at 4 a.m. We hold trend. Generally, 9 is a level, right? A resistance level. Then comes 930. That 9 level got decimated. And then look at this 950 hold. We end up using prior area resistance in the pre-market as support during regular trading hours. Now, let's do a bit more TA. What I see here is an umpteen amount of higher lows off that 20 EMA retracement at 1105. And this one feels like it is a flat top break. brewing here at 10.25 to 10.33. If this one gets a volume spike higher, this is going to rocket up likely into 10.50. That's how I see it. But look at that volume profile. Ooh. It's unabated lower highs here on the volume profile. So we will need that volume spike to push this back above 10.25. And I happen to like this. Why? The volume profile and the price action are diverging. We've got higher lows and higher highs on the volume profile, but when you look on the price action profile, but when you look at the volume, it's certainly lower highs. So let's see if this one may be foreshadowing a retracement or whether or not we're going to get a flat top breakout. And just before we go to Adara, there goes CODX into the high of the day, Joey. We got 15s on. It's showing me 19s. It's up 233%, Adara.
Yeah, keep an eye here on Coinbase, COIN. I'm seeing reports here that Citigroup is tapping Coinbase to explore potential stablecoin payments for clients. So again, Citigroup reportedly in talks here with Coinbase to explore the possibility of stablecoin payments for clients. COIN, back to you.
Oh, baby.
Thank you for that, Adara. Much appreciated as always. Yeah, Bitcoin doesn't really want to go here. Let's see what Coinbase is up to, considering, did it get any form of pop? No volume really stepping in on Coinbase. And we're just breaking through some key support levels on IBIT, so keep an eye out on that, guys. I figured it was either going to go one way or the other, and I think I'm leaning in the wrong direction here. So the boys on Wall Street not in love with Bitcoin just yet. So yeah. Let's see how much longer I'm going to hold on to this. Not much. I'll give it just a little bit south of 65.20. If it wants to crack through that, then by all means, it can continue to do so. First, let's take a look at the top performing sectors of the day. Yeah, there it is. Now we'll see what we got cooking up there. Yeah, Bitcoin, man. You're doing us dirty, dog. You're doing us dirty, my dog. No breakouts on that one. So we're going to have to be patient. Tech sector, guys. Tech sector leading the way up 1.5%. Consumer discretionary being led by the likes of Tesla, probably. There, guys, up 1.5% as well, too. The comms up 1%. And then the bottom three, we got the materials, healthcare, and utilities. So no defensive PA over there, Sharif.
Yes,
but
sir.
Check this out.
Yes, sir. Hold on. What is it?
Hey, I thought you would know.
Bites to bucks?
Bites to bucks, baby. Algo.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
I got that one from Fabian.
He doesn't ask for much.
Yeah, I didn't even ask for it. Fabian came up with it, but he said it was for you. You remember that?
Remember Chow?
Yeah,
your friend Chow back there?
Yeah.
Your friend Chow was supposed to have an algo segment. And then another friend of ours back there was like, no, you can't give up the secret sauce.
Oh, you can't? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
but Joey Options is nice enough.
I'll give up the sauce, man. Yeah, shout out to the sauce, man. But no, in all seriousness, guys, this thing's working pretty good today. Yeah, I like that a lot, in all seriousness. So what is this today? Let's head over to, oh no, we don't want that. Get that garbage out of here. So let's just take a look, guys. The algo's been performing really well on, on AMD. Where is it now? Come on. I can see clearly now. Where'd you go? It left me. So no. Anyways,
do it, Joey.
Aside from that, guys, it's picking things up. I have to find it somewhere. I don't want to have it. Oh, there it is. Bang. All right, so let's go over to IBIT again. Did it pick anything up today? There it is, baby. October 24th is when we get that entry, and it doesn't close it until this morning, so that's beautiful. And the exact same thing with AMD. If you guys see anything specific that you would think that, oh, actually, I can't even say that. But again, picking it up, now we're out of that one. So we're in that for an hour and a half, not too bad. The time's off. But yeah, it's picking up the signals that I wanted to continuously. Now, I told Sharif, I'm just waiting for a specific platform to go on sale. Then I could directly link it to its API. And then I'm going to do about a 3 to 4 month back test, an actual live trading, simulator, but in the account to see if it's picking up what I want continuously. And then once I find out that it's significantly as profitable as it's been displaying through the back test with forward testing, then I'm going to release it to the live program. And then that's it, man. Who knows where this thing's going to take us at the end of the day. So we're highly excited about it. It might come up into the paid program as well too, Sharif. So that could be a bonus on that front for those who are looking for something along those lines. Some good looking stuff, but we got to.
Joey, so you're telling the people that there is a chance not only they get my morning note,
not
only are they going to get the weekly earnings summaries, but they're going to get your algo if they sign up for the YouTube subscription.
Listen, man,
that's crazy time.
Listen, I'm a man. I try to be a man of the people, brother, and just pay it forward at all costs. That's just, I don't know, in all seriousness. Yeah, I think so. We'll be in talks, though. I want to see, by no means is it going to be anytime soon, because I want to see if it works for myself first. Yeah, exactly. The back tests are good. It's just now the forward testing, and then once I get a legitimate sample size of that, then we'll get into further talks. But I mean, by no means, I'm going to be working on it continuously. I didn't this weekend, just because I had a lot going on. But yeah. After that on sale, then it's going to get rocking and rolling. I'm loving it a lot. As for IBIT, we're back to exactly our entry point there, so not too bad of a look there. And yeah, as for everybody in the chat, the people's champion, boo. Oh no. Yeah,
he's not the people's champ, but you know, he's close enough.
He
used to fight a lot with the people's champ. Right, Austin and The Rock they had like a notorious rivalry, right?
But no, in all seriousness, yeah, Bitcoin's really choppy, guys. I don't think this is going to get going, but we'll sit on it. Coinbase is getting a little bit of a pop there after Adair brought us that move up to 365, so that's not too bad of a look there. But we're going to sit our hands. We had a monster trade on Tesla. Now let's see if we can get rolling on Bitcoin.
All right, guys. I see the comments. Let me just get to this one in a second. This is another Bovin called DGXX. Trading at, well, very close to the high of the day. Bovin, 553, give or take. That's where it's trading right now. It's got a topping, double top, 559. I like this certainly off that 530 to 535. The reason I say that, look at that price action resistance from earlier on. That's the implied balance high that rejects 530, drops all the way down, loses everything, the bid into 470. Not an area that I would have earmarked for support, but hey, found support there, and now it is trading very much near the high of the day. It's up 20.25%, again with a 559 high. I'm very interested in working into this one, but at more appropriate levels. Now, let's talk about the ones that been involved in. GSIT, it did it again. Remember what it did? When it pulled into the 10 EMA, we added into that one, and then it rocketed up into the high of the day at 1313. Here's the deal, though. It did it again, Joey. It found a retracement right into that 10 EMA at 12.25, and it put in a doji candle, a candle of indecision, and or a reversal candle. And here we go, the current candle, the 12 o'clock candle, making a 5-minute candle to make a new high. It is trading above the prior candle, so look for continuation back into 13. It's up 35.75%. GSIT. I'm also keeping an eye on CODX, another one I've been involved in. I'm an adder here at the 10 EMA. That's around 105, 107. But here's the deal. If this candle, this 12 o'clock candle, ends up closing above the 1155 candle, that'll be a higher low. And that means we're still holding trend. So that means I'll have to look to get in a little bit higher. But if it loses prior bar low, then I'm looking certainly at 105, and then with my ultimate out below that $1 area. Last but not least, the trade I'm involved in right now, a new one, SUPV. So I've got in at 10.15 for the 10 EMA holdup. I'm looking at adding more at the 20, and then I'm out if it loses 10. Simple as that. It's held at 20 on the 2 prior retracements. It doesn't hold it this time. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I'm not going to wait around to find out. I'm going to stop out, and if it regains trend, we'll get back in, looking for a move here on SUPV. We're going to the big desk for happening now. Then Neil's got his lesson of the day.
Take a look here at the market, which is trading near high of day. And it's a big week in terms of what's happening this week. A whole bunch of earnings. And, of course, on Thursday, the meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and President Xi of China. Now, Trump already said apparently the U.S. has received provisional approval for the TikTok deal, which they're hoping to finalize on Thursday. But we know some of these materials names, including MP and CRML, they got hit a little bit this morning because these talks going well, specifically for rare earth minerals, doesn't, I guess, give a lot of the reason here for this rally in MP. So I guess a lot of these materials names, as we get good news out of China, maybe bad news for some of these stocks. Keep an eye on AMD. We have Reuters reporting that AMD and the Department of Energy struck a $1 billion deal for AMD to produce 2 supercomputers. So good look there. And we have Qualcomm, another name in the semiconductor space with a massive push to the upside. They announced a deal with Humane AI, and they announced these new AI 200 and AI 250 chip-based accelerator cards and racks designed for data center AI inference. Now, this actually puts Qualcomm in competition with NVIDIA in that AI compute space. So really good look for QCOM. Though we have a reporter here by the name of Christina Partsinavellos posting that BofA is a little bit skeptical apparently of Qualcomm's rally, saying that these are lower end chips that apparently could really only lead to $1 to $2 billion in revenue, but the market cap of Qualcomm jumped way more than that. So be aware here, some analysts, including BofA, expressing skepticism, but either way, QCOM still sharply to the upside, even with this pullback from intraday high. Before we send you over to Neil and his lesson of the day, keep an eye here on all these earnings plays this week. And as I said, keep your eyes peeled to EXIT TTV Research. I have a very massive rollout of earnings-related infographics planned for this week. Every day we'll get a whole bunch. So again, stick with us here, EXIT TTV Research. This one, brand new, just posted here about Apple and its revenue growth. There will be a more earnings-specific infographic to come in the coming days. Now, before we send you over to Neil, we will take a moment to thank our friends at Origenics, OGEN. Each year, 3.8 million concussions are reported in the U.S., but there's still no FDA-approved treatment. NYSE-listed Origenics, OGEN, is changing that with its first-in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027, Origenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more. Schedule a meeting today. And without further ado, Neil and his lesson of the day. So Neil, please take it away.
I'll try to do so, Adara. Thank you very much. And the lesson of the day is that, look, if something isn't working, you got to get away from it. But just because it doesn't work early doesn't mean it's not going to work a little bit later. And with an assist to some volatility that came into AMD, I'm going to give you an example of why. Now, we've seen this story before, where you get that heavy dip at 9:30 at the open, stocks have gapped up, and then you fill in the gap. So a lot of times they'll say, well, make sure you're patient, all that stuff. And initially, I'm not really here to talk about the dip into the prior high, which was the plan of action. It's once this stock doesn't look good to me anymore, which was, the initial dip, we go into VWAP, and then it breaks the low at that point. I guess I could have got back in, but to me, it's like I don't like it anymore. It's making those lower highs and all that. It's actually breaking down, goes all the way down to 250 bucks. So if I'm even trying to hold on to that 54 prior high, like I'm holding it $4 against me. But something interesting happens. It goes right into that key level, turning from support to resistance. So I'm like, yeah, don't like it there. The 54 level has turned from strong into it the first time to resistance the second time. But look what happens when the news drops of that government contract. My level perks up again. And if the level is as simple as I like it in front of holding above the prior high, well, it gives you that on the news. It gives you that on the pullback. It then consolidates into a trend break and gives you another shot. Now, I'm the type of trader where, like, if a stock is just trending up, then I'll probably be in it a bunch of times. If it's one of my longs, I'll get in, I'll get out, I'll get in, I'll get out. And I might trade a bunch of things that set up. But a lot of times, I'm not going to be in a stock multiple times long unless it is trending to the upside. In this particular case, it's an exception to the rule. Why? Because the exact level I like sets up multiple times. Now, this ends up being a breakout, but others are dip buys. It's a consolidation break here. And over again, it just shows when it bounces off the key level, there is some acceleration. The buyers want to get involved at your price. So your first step is usually to identify a stock, maybe have a bias in direction. But the other thing you can like too is a specific price level that you want to trade off of that you can eyeball for entry points. And when they set up, you try to take them. Now, not every time I traded off this level did it work. I did take one hit on it. So it's not as if you have to be perfect. But what you do need to do is if you like a particular technical setup and the stock it's volume, it's in play, it's giving you opportunities, it's not just sitting there doing nothing, then trade off of that level when it gets there. Set up an alert, at least have an idea, like I was ready for it when it got to VWAP at 1040. It didn't look like a long at that point, so I didn't take it. But every time it's traded at 54, I've been ready to trade AMD at that price. Whether it's a scalp for $1, maybe you get 150 or 2, whatever it's giving me, I'm ready for it. And as it pulls back in here, I'll be ready one more time. Not every time are you going to have, stock dips into your level and it just goes from there and it rips higher and you're just trending all day long, buying the dips. Sometimes you've got to be patient enough to know that this is what I'm looking for. This was a top idea at a particular level. I'm just going to patiently look for the long there. This is an example where this stock has actually been mostly down today, but if you stick to sort of your plan and are disciplined about it, you can be up. And there were better longs if you got the absolute low, but that was never part of it for me. It's just a matter of sticking to your guns. And by the way, Joe, I'm going to end it right here by saying that 65.3 guy is gone. And no, I'm going to get some out here. I didn't have an offer at 40, so I'm just going to get one out there now. Because I've been sitting in this same trend break and then bought the dip again, like looking for this spike. I think this is the one that holds. Joe, I'm talking about IBIT, by the way, which should be obvious as you guys can see you can see this. I'm going to keep reloading this into VWAP. I think Bitcoin's joining the party, needs to break out 65.5, needs to hold 115, but finally that wedge break is gone. And again, this is an example of if you like something, be ready to trade it. Every time at VWAP, I've been looking to get into this, and it finally broke a wedge here at volume weighted average price, dipped in and held VWAP again. So again, ready to trade it at a specific price level, be locked and loaded, and then pounce so you can get those sniper entries. Good luck to everybody out there trading. I got to take a look at this YAI YAI because these reverse splits, it is gone ham. And a lot of times on a reverse split stock, if it ever takes out the top, which isn't always the case, usually you reverse split, you go down, that can be potential squeeze. So got to have an eyeball on this, as YAI YAI was a great short when it was a penny stock, but they had to do the reverse split so they could stay up. I'll probably pay for locates on the off chance this falls apart, but yeah, eyeball this one for a potential breakout. Good luck, everybody.
You say small cap gapper, something like that, Joey, reverse split, cheap stock, you got my attention immediately. Halted up, Joey. YAI YAI does look like it's halted up here. 381, I just want to mention it because Neil was talking about it. Here we go. We're still down 4% on the day, but to break even, we got a knock on the door of that $4 area. To be specific, 397 puts us positive on the day. We'll have to see where this one is trading with respect to the halt. So I'm probably not going to trade the IPO, and I always save my last screen for the IPO. So let's put in YAI YAI, Joey, see what we're gonna get here in terms of tap. Okay, not good so far. 381 halt time. Tap showed me 325. So we're slated to open below support. I observed support at 330. Look at that breakout area there on the way up. So let's see how this one ends up doing. I think we're still early in the halt, 12:07. Yeah, we're about 3 minutes deep. A couple of more minutes left to go here on this bad boy. Packing my patience there. One thing I want to tell you about. We are involved in here with SUPV. We're going to get stopped out on SUPV, and we did get stopped out. So that'll be my second loser on the day. Where the hell is my SUPV trade? There it is. So this one lost $10. It lost trend. If it gets back above $10 and starts putting in higher highs and higher lows, we'll get back in. But for the moment, it lost the 20 moving average. Of course, it lost the 10 if it lost the 20, and it lost that $10 area. That isn't the move for me. I was basing my entry on support at the 20. We didn't get the support at the 20. That's fine. If we ended up getting it later and it was just a quick wick out, we'll get back in. But for now, steering clear of this one. Quickly, before we send it back to Joe, see what he's been up to. CODX pulls back into that 10 EMA, putting in higher lows, looking for a hold of the 10 EMA, and by extension of that, of course, the dollar, and a move back in possibly into that $1.25. We got 8s on, showing me 7s, looking for continuation on this one, Joey.
Beautiful stuff. Yeah, all right, so Neil and I are both in this name here. I don't know if Neil got all out, but he started to piece it out there, guys. We got that breakout, and he's like, Joe, look at that seller on the offer at 65.30, and I'm like, dang. And shout out to Neil, though, because he said as soon as that gets lifted, watch out for a potential pop, and there it goes. You just climb essentially 17 cents, just like that. Now, one thing is, why am I continuously holding on to this? Well, because one thing, we had that pop up in volume, and then on our pullback here, as we take a look at our volume profile, it's stair stepping down. So for me, I'm looking at it as a potential breath. All right, nice. So yeah, Neil's still holding on to some for the dream. That's what we want to see. Nice grab off of the lows on Palantir. Algo didn't pick that one up there, Gorv, because of wick sizing, specific criteria on that. But here it is, volume cooling off. Now we want to see see that second flow of buyers start to step in here on IBIT 65.50. We're going to look to take a little bit off there, so not too bad of a look. And I told you guys, this trade, I shouldn't essentially be taking it, but I like it. It was small paper cut loss, small paper cut loss, small paper cut loss, and then you put on an absolute monster trade in Tesla via TSLA, so that's why I'm willing to do so. I like the continuation and strength on Bitcoin from over the weekend, so we want to participate. Now 65.44, come on, give us a new high. We're going to post up there at 65.50, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
We'll take 20% off at that specific level just because, and if we get that pop, then woohoo, we partying today, and the Jays are playing as well too, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Let's go, man. We need to take one in LA. Just give us one in LA. My fear is that if the Dodgers get one, these guys get really, really moving, and then we might be in a little bit of trouble.
Okay.
But stay faithful.
I don't want that.
Yeah, we don't want that whatsoever. Stay optimistic, and hopefully we start raking in some W's. All right, so there's TSLA, not putting in a new high of the day just yet, but keep an eye out on coin because there could be a potential reversal here. If it breaks through that top, then I'm gonna suspect that, hey, we might see some more upside. But if this wick high continues to hold at that pre-market high level, then watch out for a potential fade. Why? Because you have an isolated volume print and an inverted hammer candle. That, to me, is a bearish signal, Sharif.
All right, YAI is breaking out. Here comes 4, guys. What do we got? We got 80s, guys, so we're nicely in the money now. 99's the area high. YAI reverse split. Shout out to Neil for calling this out. Large seller at 4. There's 4 right now. Can't shake him. We can't shake him. Yeah, so he didn't get shaken on that move either. There's 5 posting up a little bit above 5. Can we get the clearance? We're going to take it out. No. Oh, crap. There we go, Joe. Nice. We get the move into 5. YAI looking real good here. Looking for that move and the continuation. We still got shares on this one. Let's go ahead and post at 11s. See if we can get move above the 10. We're still seeing 5 as a pesky resistance level with the high of the day being 6. I don't think we've cleared, though, 4 by a substantial amount or enough for me to get comfortable here with 80s as resistance, or sorry, support, excuse me. No, we haven't cleared 4 enough to use 4 as resist or support. So there we go. We'll take it out at the high of the day there. Right back into 408s. Good trade on this one. I could have done a little bit better. I got a little bit tongue-tied there, to be honest, with the levels. I was looking at something and I was saying something else. I do apologize. Hope I didn't confuse anybody with that one. But yeah, YAI, not a bad move. Looking for a little bit more on this one. CODX. Looking at this one as well. We still have an entry on this. I'm looking for the hold of this 10 EMA on the 5. It looks like it's putting in lower highs with a false breakout in the prior candle. So I don't know how I feel about this one anymore. Anything south of 1 ends the trade. But let's cut the crap. This one is making all sorts of moves. I'm talking about MAMK. Midday mover here. Only really started moving with volume right around 12 p.m. It's got a 1278 high, trying to clear 12 right now. It's only done 1.15 million shares, but it's really getting going here, up 120%. It's not too bad of a spread. I've seen it as wide as 30, but right now it looks like it's about 10. Top pigtail candle, and it looks like we're going to halt here to the downside, 1080. It looks like the halt's coming in at 1080. Be careful, guys, with this one. They're around for a good time, not a long time, and this is exactly what I mean by that. A couple of more seconds in this way, and we're going to halt at 1080, and this will be the first down halt on the day for MAMK. Believe it or not, we're still well above the 10 EMA, well above VWAP, and still up 104% despite the downtrend here on MAMK. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this one. Thankfully, it's a NASDAQ name, so we'll be able to see what the theoretical auction price is during the halt, and quite frankly, it does not look good. We halted at 1080, and it's already showing me 770, now 820, as the theoretical auction price down to 780 again, but it's zigging and zagging. There goes CODX. We don't get stopped out there, Joey, so we're going to take out some here at 12s, looking for continuation back into the high of the day at 125. This is another candle with a new high on CODX. We're going to pause for a second with this small cap mania. We're going to the big desk with Adara.
We're going to take a look here at Ford and GM. Now, Ford pushing lower, likely just pulling back a bit after that earnings rally, but we do have some commentary coming from Ontario Premier Doug Ford, specifically with tariffs and the auto space. He said that the auto sector has slipped in U.S.-Canada tariff talks and that Trump is finding excuses not to get a deal, specifically, I guess, with regards to auto. He also added that Americans are gouging Canada when it comes to steel. So again, some tariff talks here, likely, if anything, going to impact the auto stocks. Unclear if this drop is related. As I said, it's been dropping all day. But either way, keep an eye on Ford and GM as Ontario Premier Doug Ford criticizing some of the U.S. tariffs, specifically with regards to the lack of conversation, in his opinion, on auto. Back to you.
Dougie's a character.
I love the Ford brothers, man.
Hello, friends.
Hello, friends.
Did I tell you I seen him at the gas station that one time? I didn't even know who the hell I was, bro. He's like, hello, friend.
Oh, yeah?
I'm like, big Dougie. He's a big dude, bro. All right, Assassino.
My wife was talking about you. She heard you talking about Chow on the show.
Which Chow?
Yeah.
We were just talking about him, Katina, man, because the animation that.
Eyes and ears on you guys.
Yeah. Whoa.
Shout out to Marissa Katina, bro.
Marissa, yeah.
All right, what do I got to tell them about this, though, Joey? And now for some exciting news out of Canada for sophisticated traders on the stream. Beta Pro by Global X Canada, which is Canada's largest provider of leveraged, inverse and inverse leverage Katina Man ETFs, has just launched 6 new triple leverage ETFs. They're offering 3 times bull and 3 times bear exposure to the S&P TSX 60, semiconductors, and on U.S. Treasuries. And if you want even better, they're offering a special fee rebate. They're dropping those management fees, baby, down to just 65 basis points, all until New Year's Eve of this year. Yes, December 31st, 2025, plus the U.S.-focused strategies use currency hedging, which offers you the potential for pure performance and exposure. So, if you're a tactical, sophisticated trader looking to amplify your performance, check out betapro.ca/3x daily to learn more. Shout out to the great folks at Beta Pro. All right, Joey, I'll let you call me out on this one.
Oh, you did that? Did you punch out by accident, or you just got out willingly?
No, I didn't trust this one, Joey, because it's a reverse split. You know, that's not really my moat. But good call out by Neil, man. YAI into $4.40. It is green, 6 1/3. 6 1/3% green on the day. Check that, 8 1/3. As it moves back in, Joey, into the high, and there it is again, a new high day, 455 high. We've got successively higher highs and higher lows, even though there is some profit taking now into that 455, down into the 4 1/4 we go. But there's a buyer here at the $0.25. Let's see if he gets shaken out. Doesn't look like he's getting shaken out quite yet. We're going to go long over here on YYAI at 28. Let's post up at 33s. Look for a nice move, possibly back into the high. Oh, wow, we're going to get rinsed on this one, Joey. Topping tail candle in the 4. Anything below 4, we're going to get out of this one and give back a little bit on what we made. What do you got?
All right, guys. So, yeah, I mean, we just started piecing some out here on IBIT, gaining back some of the losses on that name. Tesla's still really nice. Katina, man, check this reload out, brother. Check this reload out on TSLA here. We enter here, bang, 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 reload. I'm reloaded, bang, and then we take that all the way up to the top there, so not too bad of a look. Joey, no option says no, Lunar, by all means. Tesla short. Oh, but we got some super chats here, guys, sir. I don't want to miss out on those, considering. All right, John Ross with 20, we'll call it 29 flat Singaporean dollars. Thank you for that, my friend. Hey, guys, I'm looking at 53-day options on $21. Any tips, please? I have no idea what ticker that is. There's literally no information. Any tips? Yeah, there's no ticker or anything like that. So, John Ross, just tag us and we'll go over that. He's in the next one? Oh, he said the next one. Oh, okay. Oh, on MSTX. Yeah, what is that? Is that
I think it's MSDR.
MSDR, yeah. Is that a leverage derivative on MSDR?
I'll tell you exactly. 2 times long.
Oh, okay.
It's a 2 times long, Joey.
All right. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, let's pull it up here. Anyways, let's see what MSTR is. You need Bitcoin to rally, not do these pumps and then just come back in. Oh. So we'll pull up MSTX. They're only $50. That's not too bad. We won't complain too much about that. Go over this one more time so I can read 53 days. The more time, the better. 53 days is going to put us around December 19th. Yeah. So that's that expiration. go longer, right? If you're really bullish, I would go to January. The difference isn't that much. So we'll head back and see what that was on the 19th. At the money strike price, you're paying $3, 120% at the money IV. You want to go a little bit further out. Yeah, you'll be paying a little bit like close to 10 times. I don't even know if those quotes are correct, but 53 days on Bitcoin. If you're looking to make some cash, I would suggest buying some more time. So go further dated out, not just 53 days. Start with at least 60. All right, even though that's just an additional week, it's better than not having it. And it's always worth that extra premium, in my opinion, so you don't have to worry about that. And I'm sure all the veteran options traders could drastically agree on that one. So, Joe, on SGD with that one, let's take a look at SGD. I don't even save green. Oh, I get what you're saying there. Okay, but that's not liquid if that's an actual specific name. Let's take a look at MSTR actually to see what it's doing from a daily standpoint. Hovering off of those lows, a nice little bounce from 290, what was the low? 293s, now up to 297. The daily is going to be extremely important on this. Boop, boop, bang. Yeah, so I mean, downtrend still fully intact. You have to keep that in mind. I think this is just a whipsaw move, but if you, this right here obviously is what I'm referring to, but once you crack this and you sit on the backside of it, then I would look to start to grab a little bit, and you might not be too far off of it there, Sharif. So yeah, come on to IBIT, head back towards that high. We've only traded 2 names. Unrealized, this would not put us green on IBIT, but it would take a massive chunk out of our losses. Tesla, still nicely green on that one, Sharif.
All right, guys. For too long, trading meant risking your own money or never having enough to actually start. The fear of losing as well. That's what kept many traders on the sidelines, but that's changing. Trade the Pool is actually transforming traders' access to the markets. With its limited risk trading model, traders actually use funded capital while Trade the Pool absorbs all the downside. This allows traders to focus on what truly matters, the discipline, the consistency, and the growth. When you hit the profit target, you actually keep up to 70% of your profits. No fear, no barriers, just real opportunities, guys. This is the revolution of limited risk trading powered by our friends at Trade the Pool. So if you're interested, visit tradethepool.com or scan the QR code now to get 10% off your first evaluation. All right, so I got to punch in quickly here to SUPV because this one is regaining trend, and I like the look of this one's jib. Let's see if we can work into this one. Separately, I got things to update you on. First of all, let's update you with the bad. YAI AI gave back on this one, tried to take a breakout. It's halted to the downside, thankfully. We got well out before the halt. We got out at 4. It's halted at 378. Not a good trade. CODX, much the opposite of the one with YAI AI. Holds the dollar like a T. We add in again on the drop back down, and there it is. Prints another new high day, 126 area high on CODX, up 240%. Be on the lookout here for resistance at 1.25 because it's not the first time we've actually rejected there. Take a gander at this area rejection at 1030 where I got out initially. Yeah, we rejected the $0.25, dropped back down, held 1, and here we are again right back at that $1 level. I'm keeping an eye out on this one, CODX. And then separately, I punched in, as I mentioned, into SUPV at 11s. So let's go ahead and throw in our stop because we can't fly without risk management here. So we're going to go 994 prior bar low. And we're giving it that much room. Separately as well, MAMK, sorry to keep taking you through all these ones. This is another triple-digit winner, up 104%, halted down again. So this one was halted up at, it made a 1278 high, was halted initially at about $11. It's now halted at 1080 exactly. The halt time on this one. Okay, it's open. Here we go. Let's see if it holds 10. MAMK losing 10 right now into 9.5. This one is losing the bid. It looks like it's going to halt here at 946. Nope, false halt right back up into 9.5 on MAMK. Now below triple digit territory, up 89%, but below 10. Bottoming tail candle though below 10. Look at this one get bought up right back up into 10.33. Aggressive buying there. Now 1080. Here we're going to clear 11, dude. So MAMK, all sorts of volatility on this name, giving you dollars in seconds here, traded. First downside move, MAMK, Joey, up 83%, but pulling back a little bit right now below 10.
All right, good stuff there.
Sorry, let me just...
go right ahead, brother.
Actually, this is probably for you.
What is
this
he?
is Qualcomm. I saw a scanner and I figured he probably was talking to me. But Tesla NVIDIA wants to know what scanner you use to catch a fast runner like Qualcomm. I personally wouldn't catch Qualcomm off the scanner. You could, right, for a volume scanner, especially...
Yeah, I think a turbo breakup.
Yes.
The turbo breakup.
So what I do sometimes, you get these, price spike up.
No, I don't have that.
You don't have those?
No.
Yeah,
no.
so I get
you would
like,
probably get it on that one.
Yeah, so you could use a price spike up scanner. So like you set up the limit. So you tell, all right, look, if anything moves more than 5%, I'm just giving you any data. 5% in 2 minutes, show up on my scanner. You can have filters on that. You can have price filters, volume filters, so that you can weed out the less volume names. That's how personally I would use it. Otherwise, we typically rely on Adara, who brings us breaking news. And then obviously you can stick with us as well, because if we get the news, you get the news. So that's how I do it. How would you do it?
Yeah, no, I think how you mentioned it there, Sharif, is just filtering your scanner. X amount of percentage in X amount of time. I'm pretty sure there's some other ones. I don't know what platform you're using. Excuse me, like turbo breakup, turbo breakdown. That might help you out. But the volume spikes is most definitely what you want to do. So what Sharif got going on there is it. Wow, Tesla almost putting in a new high of the day. So yeah, this is looking pretty good, guys. Only a fraction of a cent off of that. So not too bad of a look. And then we got Bitcoin starting to recover as well. I'm like, oh no, inverted hammer candle. But I like what Neil was talking about earlier in the day is that, hey, once that 30 seller's gone, you might get a sustained move. And what I'm looking at from a volume profile standpoint is, yeah, I really like it. So pre-market highs is definitely going to be a primary target there. That's going to be putting us around 65, which we will take all day, every day, just in case it does want to go there. Nice ABCD pattern consolidation holds a specific level, and now you're heading towards that wick high. And once it does break it, don't forget, that's the intraday high as well, too. So you almost had a double, well, you do have a double top, essentially, almost to the penny at that level, 65.53. Now, if it breaks through that, what is the next zone you're going to look to enter? And that's going to be in the 60s for me. And then after that, once you breach all the pre-market highs, I think you can get sailing in IBIT. Now, let's go over some of the scans here as you're just mentioning it. So essentially, mine is so simplistic. I want to see stocks that are over $20 and with over a couple million shares traded on this session. That's how simple I like mine, personally. I know people like the gappers up, gap down, whatever it may be, to each their own, right? So here it is. Okay. We'll go through TSL, putting in 110 million shares traded on the day. Some beautiful stuff right there. INTC with 106 million. Nice bounce off of the lows, indecision print, and you get that move right back to the volume weighted average price. Ford, what has Ford been up to? To the downside, yeah, it's been no good. Sharif, NVDA chopping around, but a nice breakup. I like what Katina Man picked it off of this specific candle right there, 189s, and he's still long 188.9s. So shout out to him on that one, looking really good. Qualcomm, big time move. Really rich. He's really rich today.
Get him, Donald.
21% off of those lows, now starting to pull back a little bit there, guys. Keep that in mind, 7% to where we're currently trading at. What's AMD been up to? Price spike, volume spike, doesn't do much after that. But this trend is still intact, right? So we're forming these consistent higher lows. That's something positive. Until it breaks that to the downside, wait for the second wave to step in. There goes Tesla. Wow, oh wow. That thing was just absolutely skyrocketing here, guys. I hope you're long Tesla. If you're not, then by all means. It's so tough because if we go back, let's go to a higher time frame here and just take a look at some things. So we'll go to the hourly. So it's like, okay, Friday, there's one green hourly candle there, but on Thursday, you have one red hourly. And then today, you haven't even put in a red hourly candle on Tesla. So it's a lot of ups and downs, a topsy-turvy, whatever you would like to call it, the ebbs and flow of the market, but you got to go with the flow. I think Tesla has the ability to get to an all-time high this year, considering we are only, I think we're about 5% off of that specific level, Sharif. Okay. 6 to be exact, so not too bad. Once you crack this 470 level, it's new all-time highs. I'm calling it here, and I'm calling it now.
I like it, man. I like it. You see what your friend Donald said on the weekend about President Xi.
What do you say?
I
They're
got
friends.
a good relationship
Yeah,
with
yeah.
President Xi. I
They're
like
friends.
him. I think he likes me.
I think he-
I
I think
love when he
he-
does that, bro. I think he likes me. It's like, Donald, bro.
Oh, yeah, who knows, man?
President Trump is
Who knows if they actually really like you? They
more
probably
like a
don't.
day apart. You know that, eh?
Are they?
Yeah,
So
man.
it's almost like
Yeah.
they're essentially
Yeah, they're
like
both
the same
like
year
late,
and everything.
Late month Geminis, I think. Like,
Are they the same age?
I don't think so.
Oh,
No, I think
she's
President
younger,
Trump
right?
is
Yeah, she's-
significantly
yeah,
older.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think I'm not 100% sure on that. I'd have to look that up. But
I mean, the Chinese age well.
I think he likes
Right?
me. Get him, Donald. All right,
Some people's age
all right,
well.
Joey. Here, let's talk about SUPV. We got in. What did we get in? We got in at 11s. Show me 18s. We went the beak there at 15. Looking for the next profit taker at 20. It's got a 1050 high on SUPV. Full disclosure, I'm 0 for 1 on this one, looking to get back into positiveville. Let's start though with a print at the 20 penny level. That's what I'm packing my patience for there. As you can see on the side chart though, I'm back into GSIT as well because it's holding trend, and we already got a beak wetter there into 39s. I'm waiting through 40s. GSIT's holding trend, but who knows, right? Because, you know, sometimes when we get a bit of a pullback off the area high, this is some short covering for a bear flag. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on now, despite the fact that we made the first 5-minute candle will make a new high there on GSIT, coming back down now into 20s. So we'll see what this one does. Prior bar low is where my out is on GSIT. Looking back here to SUPV, we're at 20s again. There it goes, Joey. We get the 20 print. Now it's showing me 24s. My next profit taker's at 25. And there it goes. We get the 25 profit taker there. I appreciate you. Let's go now ahead and set up at 33s. High of the day is 1050. But I do want to point this out. This is the area where we've had problems all day on SUPV, okay? It's been the quarter dollar. The sellers have been using this area to get short, or the longs have been taking profits into this areas. Take a look at the black charts over here. You'll see it a little bit clearer that this 10 and quarter has been resistance. And this is in fact why I got into SUPV. I was of the opinion that this was an ascending wedge, AKA a flat top break, and I wanted to participate in it. Well, looks like I got in a little too soon initially, but we got in again when we retook the 10 EMA on the 5, and I'm pleased that I did. But again, we're selling at 1030. Again, where the profit takers are taking some off the tables, and or the shorts are weaseling in back. So SUPV, keeping an eye on this one, looking for profits next at 1033. What else we got over here? You guys were telling me about YAI, halted to the upside again. Let's pull this one up. So this is a negative one for me. Quite frankly, I did not execute well on YAI. Doesn't mean that I can't. Going forward, we're back into positiveville on the name. We had been, you know, a zigging and zagging, a little above 4, a little bit below 4. Generally is the line between negative and positive on the day. It's a little bit below 4, 397 technically, but we'll just say 4 for ease of reference. I'm seeing a lot of resistance as well at the quarter, a fifth to the quarter of a dollar. No closing prints above that fifth to quarter of a dollar, just topping tail candles, the highest of which go to 455. So as I mentioned, we're halted at 411, having halted at 1231.08 is 1236, and 05, 2, 1, we're open. Bang, right, that was perfect. That was perfect right there. All right, so we got lucky there with a 5-minute halt because I didn't know it was going to open up. But anyway, YAI, zigging and zagging right now, Joey. The prior bar low. So if I was to get in here, I get out at 379. That's prior bar low. Current bar high. Current bar high, 411, but so is the prior bar high, 411. So we know for a fact there's a seller at 411 that we can't shake. We hold current bar low. So right now, as I mentioned, 379 current prior bar low, 381 current bar low. So the buyers are stepping in as well. So we know we have some support at least at that specific level. I don't want to get in here on YAI because I don't think it's decided trend. Boom! Okay, I got that one wrong. Let's cut the crap. Right into 420 it goes. 430 it goes. It's going to halt possibly here at 427. No false halt right there. Let's keep an eye out on this one as this one develops into the 4 1/4. Let's see if this one pops up above 427. That's where we got the selling last time. Not quite yet. We're going to pause for a second. We're going to go to Adair at the big desk. She's got breaking news.
keep an eye here on PayPal, PYPL. Google announced here that they're going to be introducing an agentic commerce solution for merchants from PayPal and Google Cloud. So again, Google Cloud, PayPal here partnering up for an agentic commerce solution for merchants. Now, SHOP, eBay, and TSLA could be names to watch here as well. In antipathy, again, we do have here Google with this agentic commerce solution for merchants from PayPal and Google Cloud. Looks like the only stock reacting to this, as far as I can tell, is PayPal, and it's reacting positively. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara. For sure, I'm getting
hit
that.
For sure.
I'm getting that for sure. So
That's not what he said.
Yeah, he said I'm getting.
I hit that.
No, he said I'm getting that for sure.
Did he actually?
For sure. Yeah, I'm getting that for sure, man.
Dirty mind, I guess.
Yeah, it's all right, brother. We all live in that world a little bit there. But in all seriousness, there goes PayPal. Adara, thank you for that. I mean, if you want to talk about headline sensitivity, this market is crazy. Any pop, you're teaming up with some of these hyperscalers, and your stock's going to start climbing higher and higher. Nice volume there. You can see it's as large as that opening print and continued to move on that ascent. So pretty good look on PYPL. Now let's head back towards IBIT. We're posted up at 60.
Post up.
We told, yeah, exactly. Post up. So we're at 65, 60s to see if we can catch anything. Tesla's just doing literally the inverse of what happened on Friday. Yesterday, you couldn't grab a long if your life, on Friday, you couldn't grab a long if your life depended on it. But today, it's the complete opposite. You're not getting much on the short side with Tesla. So a beautiful, beautiful look. We like that one there. Let's head back towards our scanner. We'll go through some chain gang stuff as well, too. So shout out to all those individuals. What's BMNR been up to today, Sharif?
No, don't get me started, Joey.
What do you mean? No, but you're good. You're up 53,
yeah, we're not bad.
Yeah, you're good on that one. I haven't even looked at Ether either, so we'll take a look at ETHA. Damn. little Michael Jackson right there. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? With that type of scenario, it's gap and go. You're going to punch through this wick high. I don't even know if that's a genuine print, but Ethereum definitely outperforming Bitcoin a little bit today. Maybe not. I'm just saying it. The price action looks significantly better than what we got going on in IBIT. It's taking a lot longer to get going, but once we start clearing these levels, we might be off to the races. And I mean, shout out to Katina, man, for grabbing a little bit more on the lows. That's a good one. We like that down there. And I mean, it's again, we'll give it. We'll call it what it is, man. It was hesitation nation over there for me personally. I grabbed the contract. I got out not too long after, and I was looking to build in a little bit. I think there's going to be a good opportunity. We might get somewhat of a pullback, 64s, and then I think it's load the boat until the end of the year and just sit on this position until that year closes, and let's see what we can get Bitcoin up to. I mean, Tom Lee still, I'm curious if he still has that bullish outlook of 200K on Bitcoin. That's going to be a hefty move, and if I most definitely want to participate in that. I'm not saying that's necessarily going to be the case, and I don't think Tom Lee's going to be the individual to move Bitcoin because I believe he favors Ethereum. But aside from that, I love Bitcoin. You guys know it. Chase the Pax is like, Joe, you're a little bit biased on Bitcoin. I am, brother. I've been trading this thing for a long time, and it's made me some good coin over the years. So I have to keep going with the flow. Tony, brother, but you have to understand the benefits that it's given me over the past years. Why would I not continuously hammer the same thing over and over and over again? It just, for me, until I lose, again, listen, I said it. Do not do what I'm about to say at the end of the day. I am willing to go extremely heavy and risk a significant amount. But again, fortune favors the bold. You have to do that. And a lot of my boys and I have conversations. Why diversify if you have immense amounts of conviction in one thing? Screen, Assassino. We're going to catch that fill in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, I didn't get it, Sharif, but that's all right.
That's all right, bro. Yeah. All right, guys. All right. What are we doing over here? Keeping an eye here on GSIT, looking to add. We get the add into, I think, 12s, excuse me. Let's go ahead and post at 21s. All right. SUPV as well, continuing to trend up. No beak wetters, though. We're posted at 33s. for that move. Still selling at 25, though, as we've been talking about. The same seller still coming in that 30, 25 penny area, and really nothing to report on there. GSIT is going to have to hold up. I'm not doing well on YAI. I think I'm going to have to take this one off my screen. Where is my YAI screen? It's just so I can complain about it. Yeah, I added for the breakout. This I tried to get in at the 10. We ended up giving back on this one, so not my best trade on YAI. I think I'm going to take this one off the side chart so that we're not sort of duped into trading it. It looks like it's breaking down now, so maybe we won't be persuaded to trade it at all because it's going to be breaking down. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that. What else is there? MAMK as well, coming back down into technical levels. Where's my MAMK? This is an interesting area here for MAMK, $8.50. That's where the 10 EMA on the 5 is. It looks like it's generally holding this area. I won't be getting in here though. Very volatile, 1278 high. It's showing me 860s right now. So an aggressive move down here on MAMK. I'm seeing you guys also talking above it anyway, talking about NUAI. Let's look at NUAI as this one apparently is trending up. Give me a second here. Yes, a new high a day on NUAI, taking out that 6 1/5, 6 1/3 area top. Really depends on whether you're looking at the closing prints or the wicks. Doesn't really matter though. 660, I want to say 7 high of day. Let's throw this on the side chart so it can update NUAI. This one we've been trading for a while. Yeah, 670 high a day right now. We're getting into the high of the day as we speak. Good strength here from NUAI. Definitely something to keep an eye on. We're going to take off DVLT on the side chart and throw in NUAI. Look, if it pulls into that area that we spoke about, technical support at 6 1/4, 6 1/3, definitely be an interested buyer there. But at these extended levels, it might be a little too rich for my blood. But hey, it's showing you 69s right now as the high, so not too bad at all. Let's keep an eye out. I want to take off this right away. NUAI, we'll throw in that. That way we're not persuaded to trade, Joey, that hot garbage YAI. All right, where did this one go? CODX. CODX right back into the high of the day as we go into 120. Right now, it's a 126 high. This thing's been finding all sorts of support, CODX, at the 10 EMA on the 5. It really hasn't mattered where you look, guys. Every single print is finding support at that 10 EMA with a 126 high off, which we're close right now. 119, 120 we're showing right now. So keep your eye out on that. That's basically all I've got for now. Is it's about 1:45. We're going to go to Adara at the big desk.
I'm just seeing some talk here. It seems like mostly speculation on X, but just be aware. Apparently, Trump might be replacing Fed Chair Powell by the end of 2025. Now, his term doesn't end until mid-2026, but we know that there have been some issues here with Trump thinking that Powell has not cut rates enough and giving him the nickname too late. So this isn't necessarily new, but I've seen this circulate more than a couple times over the last 5-10 minutes here on X. So again, just be aware. We're seeing some renewed speculation that U.S. President Donald Trump might try to replace Fed Chair Powell by the end of this current year. Back to you.
Yeah, I'm just talking to Beyond Their Control. It's just like, yeah, I own a bunch of names and everything along those lines, but I just have such a heavy concentration into Bitcoin, and I'm happy with that, to be honest with you.
That was you this time?
Yeah, that was me. Maybe it was me, man. We got to get a line divider. No, it's all good, man. No, in all seriousness, yeah, but to each their own, man. Like I told you guys, I'm obviously not going to say his name or the stock or anything along those lines, but I think I might have mentioned it to you. Oh, yeah, you, Mateo and I were talking about it on Thursday, about my friend who just he's like, yeah, he just owns that one name, and how it's just like, for years and for literally half a decade, he was just accumulating this one name, and essentially now he's just putting up, the stock has been on an insane run. I'm not going to say anything along those lines. It's not. No, it's not. You wouldn't even. I'm telling you, Katina, man. I'll give you one hit. It's TSX. So you probably the chances of even guessing it are extremely slim. I wouldn't even know about it unless he mentioned it. But now he's like considering that it's gone parabolic over the past couple of months. No. I'll tell you later on.
I love Katina.
I'll message Katina, man.
Let's go, Katina, man.
No, I'll tell you. But now this guy's literally printing 5 figures a day from just holding on this, and it literally for over the past couple of months, it's been like 10K, 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 down 10K, up 10K, up 10K, up 10K, up 10K. And I mean, I've had that before, right? Like I knew nothing about trading in general, and I'm like, hey, oh, weed's going legal. Let me just put a bunch of money into that, and that worked out. There's no logic or anything behind it, and I'm not saying go and do those things, but it was then, once I kind of gained what I knew what I was doing, then I did the same thing with Moderna. I'm like, okay, COVID, how do we benefit off of crises? And sure enough, that worked out. And Bitcoin's gonna take a long time. I just texted you it there, Katina Man, or I messaged you it, you could tell Neil as well too. So yeah, I mean, that's what I'm looking for. The beauty about Bitcoin is just the halving cycle, which I think is really, really important. We're still in the first year of this one, the latter half of it. Usually the third year is the strongest for Bitcoin, and then that, yes, yeah, exactly. So, so essentially, is that once that reward is cut in half, you can just see the demand just skyrocket because there's not as much going through the system. And I said this to Sharif not too long ago.
Sir.
There's like 3 exchanges that only have 150,000 Bitcoin on the books. That's it. None of everyone has significantly less. So the supply of this specific thing is just dwindling and dwindling day by day.
Yeah, quite well. Yeah, we know that for a fact,
Yeah.
right? Because they're not making anymore, right? So it's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be interesting. I haven't gotten into any of the altcoins that we spoke about. I've been wanting to get some altcoin exposure just to, throw my hat into that ring, and I really haven't done my due diligence. I've been thinking about some Solana, some XRP, but we really haven't pulled the trigger on any of those quite yet. So, yeah, all right, guys, just spitballing over here, keeping an eye on CODX. Looking for this one to continue. It looks like it might be a flat top break waiting to happen. Hard to know with these $1 names, but we're going to keep tabs on it. Sean Aaron dropping Canadian cash, baby. $5 Canadian in the super chat. Okay, Joseph, USAR, strike, $36, expiration, Halloween. By the time I realized how upside down I was, held it into the dirt. It's worth 0. Roll to December or take the L. Joey options, he needs your help.
All right, man, let's take a look. USAR, USAR, yeah.
We know about that one, obviously. Materials today, Joey, getting rinsed.
You know what, man, honestly, but see, this is the thing, right? So you just go on this big time move. So we'll go from a percentage metric from here. And then that's when you really start to see the volatility kick in. So you go up 147%, and then essentially you just give it all back, right? Down 50%. But let's take a look at the money IV. If you're gonna roll, I would go a little bit further. And honestly, with this one, when you ever run into a scenario like that, and so you're buying it, what you essentially wanna do is when you have those calls, there's no issue with just hedging against your position to mitigate, right? Like all you're doing is creating a bull call spread at the end of the day. And if the long contracts don't work, you can drastically reduce the size of the loss by just writing a couple calls in high volatility environments when your initial long thesis isn't working. All right, so we're now at 21. It's 154% at the money IV still. So you're going to be collecting really, really good premium. I'm going to pull it up one more time because you're at the $36 strike price. We're extremely far off of that. So you're not going to collect anything from a writing standpoint, but let's go over to January to see if you are, because the IV is at 117%. Oh, no, that's way too far. That's 28. We don't want that. Let's go over to 26. We'll go to March of 26, and we're going to head over to the 37 strike.
Okay.
I mean, you're still collecting $280, right? Like you can collect $280, and if you want to roll over your contracts, then just do the combination, create that bull call spread, and you will. And once the thesis starts working, then you just buy back your short calls and allow the long calls to free roam, and then that's when you can get that mass appreciation. Right now, if you want to accept the loss, you can do that, or if you're willing to put some more dollars into it, again, you don't want to risk it all. Roll those over, but then also write them as well too at some strike prices higher, and sure enough, you will be okay and maybe not so mad at the loss that you are going to endure if you just close it right now. But now, as for the IBIT trade, guys, let's put in that new high of the day. We're close to it. Do we take a little bit off? Nah, Sharif, we're going to wait for 65s, my friend. We're now trading at 59s, so we'll post up at 65s to see if we can catch that fill, brother.
All right, shout out to my man, Big Spile. Sharif, Joseph, that SPY daily chart looking like a small cap crapper. I love this guy, bro. Will this be what a blow off top looks like, or are we plus $700 EO? What does EOY mean? End of year. Oof. I don't know, Big Spile, man. I'm just trying to concentrate right now. Oh, Joey, no. I should have pulled the trigger. That was a mistake. That was a mistake. GSIT is breaking out, guys, but into 1275. Sorry, Big Spile. Give me a second, brother. I'm trying to decide whether to get into this thing or what my move is going to be, because GSIT is all sorts of strong there as it took off the top at 1225, and this one looks like it's all gas, no breaks into the $0.75. Good strength on this one. Let's see if we can ride a little bit higher here, possibly into 80s. I promise I'll get back into your trade there, Big Spile, but for the moment I just have to focus on this one as we did punch in over here on GSIT. Show me 79s, 80s now. Nice move as we take out some here at near the top. High 80s we go, 90s we go. We got shares on here. Let's go. Let's take out some more into the 90s. I was really disappointed with myself for waiting on this one. Seller at 95. Watch out for that. Keeping my eye on GSIT, looking for a little bit more. We took out some nicely there. Let's see if we can get a little bit above 13. Now, I won't take out too much too quickly now that we've de-risked a little bit. Let's see if we can move above that $13 area on GSIT. I was debating whether to take this out through the break of 1340. I hesitated, and well, we were made to pay for hesitating because it did price spike up quite aggressively. So down it goes into my level. Anything below 1270 ends the trade for me on this one as we drop down into the high to mid 70s right now. Let's see if we can hold up at this level, or we're gonna lose that 70 penny area. Looking for continuation here. We'll have to take it out right here for a little bit of a loss on that one. CODX as well, coming back down into that $1 area here. Didn't have a stop on this one. Does this one find support at this level, or are we destined to drop below that $1 area here on CODX? Let's see if we can hold up at this level, and then we'll get out if it does drop below that $1 area. So we'll throw in that stop there, and then let's have a look now at a SPY for Big Spile.
Ooh.
SPY.
He's long biased now.
Well, yeah, he was messaging me on the gram, and he's like, he took some profits on that long, actually. Let me just read what he said. So he's like, taking profits on these SPY long-dated calls and waiting for this week to play out. I'm like, love it, brother, print, print, print. And then he's like, what exactly do you call this chart on the SPY? Daily looking like a small cap crap or crazy. No, I did point that out, Big Spile. Oh, wow, this is really dropping now. So I took a bit of a hit there on CODX. I don't know why it's not getting me out of the entire position, but that's okay. Now we're negative on the day, substantially negative on that. That's okay.
That's all right.
We'll look to make it back. SPY, let's keep an eye out on this. And so what I was talking about in the morning there with this one was we actually included the pre-market data on this, but this is an actual gap up on the SPY. And you don't see this typically because, well, when you include the pre-market data and the aftermarket data, it typically does blend in. But this is including the aftermarket and the pre-market data, but this gap is very blaring. So let's see if this gap holds, dude, whether it ends up being an island gap that we fill quite quickly. We'll have to wait and see. I don't see too many gaps, quite frankly, on this chart at all. So it does put me into a little bit of a suspicious mindset when you see something like this. But you never really know how this is going to be, Big Spile. I like the gap, obviously, as a long-only swing trader, investor. I don't short anything in my swing account. I don't short anything in my long-term. So this pleases me greatly. Now, whether or not this continues, we're going to have to wait and see. But there was a substantial catalyst today. I mean, like we've been talking about the weakness in some of the materials, well, not materials markets. Obviously, they're very strong, but with materials being an issue between the East and the West, obviously that's had a bit of a dampening effect on maybe, where we could be with respect to the markets, Joey. Obviously, some good news coming up with China and the United States, and all of a sudden we're gapping up.
It's the CODX.
CODX destroyed me right now, man. I got to be a little bit more supervising when we're doing these trades because we're letting these ones go without stops, and that's no good. What do you got?
Yeah, all right. I was just gonna tell. I knew that Big Spy was a minority shareholder on that ticker there. And also, yeah, he's a big fan of the Island Boys too, as he's mentioning in the chat.
Island Boy.
Yeah, he's an Island Boy. So yeah, I mean, in all seriousness, guys, we caught that fill up at 65.65. Now we're posting up at 75 to see if we can get that move a little bit higher. Yeah, 830 million shares traded on CODX. There are my boy Mike P. DeRider. Let's head back over to the chain just to do an example of essentially what I'm getting at. For those who aren't familiar with options or anything along those lines and are looking to get involved, let's just go from a day-to-day name, not too expensive, but extremely popular. Give me something here, Sharif. All right, let's just go with the king of the chips, right? We'll just make it simplistic and we'll just construct something. Essentially what I'm getting at, and this is what I did personally when I first started trading options, all right? But just to get more of a feel, that's not enough time. We always want to buy a little bit more time. So we'll give ourselves 81 days where we're going to put on our strategy builder. Now, if you're a little bit nervous on just buying a flat out contract or you don't really know what, all right, again, you probably know what you're doing at this point. So essentially what we're going to construct here is a vertical spread and just the benefits of it. So, boom, what we're going to do is we're going to buy this at the money strike for 100 at that 191 for $16.50. So in options terms, or I guess in regular terms, is around $1,650. So we'll select that. Now, what is that going to do? Okay, well, I don't want to pay all of this, so we're going to hypothetically say that. So what we can do is we can construct a spread to reduce the cost. And then also, when you reduce the cost, it reduces your downside risk as well, too. So we're going to go $5 higher. We can't do that, so we're going to go over to the 195 strike. And then we're going to take a look at the profile and just see what it does, right? So, again, the risk to reward may not be there, but on that specific contract combination, you have to take into consideration that your max loss is only $205, right? And your max return can be $191. Now, Joseph, why would I do this? Well, here's the thing. If the thesis starts working, what you can do is that you can buy back your short option, right? So you're selling an option, you're going to buy that back. So now you're just stuck with your long call. Will you take a little bit of a loss on the short one? Yes. But if your anticipation and your thesis is correct in the appreciation of the underlying asset, then it's going to substantially outweigh the loss that you've taken on the short, and then you're going to have that one contract just steadily going and maximizing the full benefits. You get the full delta, etc., on that specific name. But that's one thing that I started to do when I first started trading is reduce your cost by hedging your own positions, shorting some calls, and then when the thesis starts working out, you just buy it back, and then you leave that free roaming until you're comfortable enough to be like, hey, I know what I'm doing. I want to just buy this put flat out. I want to just buy this call flat out and have that appreciation where you have the infinite gain, obviously considering the time within those specific contracts. But one thing to note here as well, too, guys, that's not bad. A 50% probability of profit, so your pop right there, not too bad. And your risk to return ratio is 0.93, so not quite a 1-to-1 there, Sharif.
All right. Let's start the news as it is 1 o'clock on the dot. We're a little bit late. I do apologize for that. Give me 1 sec to set up here. It's a heavy news day, guys. Lots of interesting stuff. Of course, as you can already see, the market gapped up substantially this morning. We just went through the SPY chart there with that gap actually being the real deal there on the daily. So let's talk about why. Over the weekend, there was good news with respect to rare earths and the mining side of things as the U.S. and China apparently get close to a trade truce or trade deal. Let's talk about it. So rare earth and critical mineral stocks dropped aggressively this morning. Let's see where MP is down. I'm getting rinsed on this one in the long term. Yeah, 64.54. We're down 8.85, and I think we're short still restricted here on. Are we? Let me just. No, yeah, we are short still restricted on MP as China said they may delay new export controls as part of a pending U.S.-China trade truce. The U.S. miners, of course, could lose their near-term pricing leverage, if China restrictions are postponed. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent told NBC News over the weekend that Washington and Beijing are quite close to finalizing a deal which could avert the 100% tariffs on Chinese imports that was scheduled to go into effect on the 1st of November. The decision, of course, comes ahead of Thursday's high-stakes meeting between President Trump and President Xi, who are in Asia for many different reasons. I think President Trump is in Japan today, but they will be meeting in South Korea at the APEC summit. We know, of course, earlier this month that the Chinese regulator introduced a framework for controlling the export of these rare earths, which really triggered President Trump and the administration the wrong way because, well, let's cut the crap. China controls 70% of the global rare earth mining and 90% of the refining capacity. So that would obviously put the American chip manufacturers as well as the defense sectors very much on the back foot unless they could secure another source. So Adara, this is a very interesting development over the weekend, and it had a very positive effect about how the market traded this morning.
Yeah, I think it kind of makes sense here, right? This is not a case where, as I mentioned this morning, too, you'd be super shocked to have these names move higher. Here's CRML, which actually made a decent push here off the low. Sorry, I meant move lower, not move higher. But yeah, I think what happens here is, like, we know what happened, as you referenced there, Sharif, that October 10th Truth Social post heard around the world. The whole market drops as Trump announces that there's going to be, likely massive tariffs on China after the rare earth, I guess, discrepancy. He did not like what they were going to do there. And then, of course, rare earths are the only thing to the upside. Now, if that gets resolved, they'll move back down. To me, it kind of makes sense. It's kind of how these types of plays work. Not too shocked by it. I think there could be volatility in this, though, especially if we get any type of commentary reports coming out during his meeting with Xi on Thursday. I'd be very careful with these names.
Hey, let's talk about Novartis acquiring Avidity Biosciences for $12 billion. So this didn't really have much of a positive effect on NVS. Are they down on the day? Because they're recovering a little bit. Let's have a look over here where they're at. Biotech, load biotech. So embarrassing. There we go. Now they're down 1/3%. How about RNA, which is the company they're acquiring? They were up. No, they're still up 42.4% RNA. So let's talk about this story. Novartis announced it will acquire Avidity Biosciences, which is an RNA therapeutics developer, in an all-cash deal valued at $12 billion. Avidity shareholders are going to receive $72 a share, which is a 46% premium relative to the close on Friday, which was $49.15. What a move. They must have been waking up in a very good mood if they were looking at that first thing in the morning, Joey. Acquisition is expected to close the first half of next year, pending, of course, regulatory approval and this is important, the planned spinoff of Avidity's early-stage precision cardiology programs. It looks like Novartis wants nothing to do with that part of their business. Avidity's platform, they focus on antibody, I'm not even going to try to say this, well, maybe I will, oligonucleotide, whatever, conjugates, AOCs they're called, an emerging form, Katina, man, of an RNA therapeutics that delivers targeted gene-modifying drugs directly into the muscle tissue. The CEO of Novartis said, well, he praised Avidity's industry-leading delivery capabilities, calling the acquisition a way to reshape treatment approaches for genetic and muscle-related diseases, Joey. Yeah. So a fantastic look for RNA. Kind of a flat look here, though, for NVS.
Okay. Yeah, honestly, I'm coming in at the latter half of that one there, brother. So
you just sat down. I had to throw your way.
Honestly, when you were just spitting out, like, what you just sounded like it was like hieroglyphics in my ear. I have no idea about that language whatsoever. So, I mean, we're going to pass that one on to Adara.
All right, brother.
Yeah, I don't have too much to say on this, truthfully. Honestly, I'm going to kind of echo what I said with MP or with the rare earths, but sometimes that's the case. This is, it's an acquisition of a biotech, as we often get, and it's going to behave exactly like that, right? Like as Sharif mentioned, NVTS actually was up a little bit pre-market, but coming back down here, whereas Avidity, RNA is going to be moving nicely to the upside. So I think biotech acquisitions are as biotech acquisitions do. It makes sense to me that this is moving this way. And I think, yeah, we'll have to wait and see if this deal goes through. But given this more M&A friendly environment that we've seen, I very much suspect we will likely get this acquisition to go through. Not too much to say here, I guess.
Let's go on to Keurig. Dr. Pepper lifting their outlook on strong coffee sales. More to say on that in a second, but let's talk about their actual Q3 earnings. Net income, nice, $662 million in take-home money, up from the $616 they took home pardon me, last year on the quarter. Adjusted EPS in line with expectations, Joey, 54 pennies. That was what the street was looking for. Revenue, though, did beat $4.31 billion. The street was looking for $4.15, and also revenue did grow 11% year over year. The growth, as you can see there in the green, driven by higher coffee prices, despite the modest volume declines in their other businesses. So let's talk about that coffee trend right there. U.S. coffee sales rose 1.5% up to $991 million in the quarter, lifted by price actions amid a 4% drop in volume. KDP expects the coffee division to stay pressured, believe it or not, in the second half of this year because of tariffs, but remain supported by loyal consumer demand. The problem is coffee tariffs, Joey. The U.S. imposed 50% tariffs on Brazilian imports, which is the top coffee supplier for the United States, pushing prices higher 19% year over year for the month of September. The drought concerns as well in Brazil. This is what I was talking to you about Assassino today. That's what I was asking you. Apparently there are drought concerns in Brazil, which could push the new tariffs and potential new tariffs, on Colombia, as you know, the relations between those two companies simmers a little bit. That could push prices even higher. You got 50% tariffs on coffee coming in from Brazil. You got a potential drought in Brazil with respect to coffee, and now you got the U.S. government and the Colombian government not seeing eye to eye right now. Joey, what do you make?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't sound too good there, Sharif. As for the name, imports are obviously really important. Everybody in this office drinks coffee on a daily basis. Aside from myself, I don't even know if Ramin does.
I saw you on Friday.
I had an espresso. I had 2 espressos. I was struggling, man. I had 2 of them. Yeah, but other than that,
was flying.
And I was buzzing too, man. That's the thing. I don't drink that stuff, and it gets me rolling. But in all seriousness, guys, KDP. This is the weekly chart. You can see that we're bouncing off of that $24 or $25 low. A nice move up to the top side. We give it 20% or so, whatever it may be. Yeah, roughly 20% right there. So not too bad. But me personally, is this a long-term investment? I don't know. I have no idea what this is, Sharif, but this would sway me away from Keurig Dr. Pepper. That was not good. July of 18, you essentially lost the majority of your value. I'm assuming a reverse split right here, and then you've never recovered. So the dividend on this, I'm not too sure about it. Yeah, let's take a look at the dividend on that, because other than that, I have no idea on why you would want to own this.
So the divvy, how much do they pay here, Joey? Let's find out. Let's go. Where do we see that again? Over here. You want to look over here? Where do we find it over here? Where is the divvy over here? Oh, there it is. 92 cent dividend right there.
So that's not too bad, right? Yeah, it's like 5% roughly, a little bit there. So not too bad of a look. But other than that, KDP, not something you want to invest in long-term personally, unless you're looking for the dividend.
All right, Adair, what do you make of this earnings report? I mean, it was up aggressively in the pre-market. Giving back a little bit, though.
Yeah, pulling back a little bit here for KDP. I think that, as you mentioned there, Sharif, the biggest part of this is going to be what kind of happens down the line here for Brazil, though we certainly don't, of course, have any more details on that, because it's not like this is, the coffee brand is a small aspect of Keurig Dr. Pepper, right? Like the Keurig is literally before the Dr. Pepper, and they're also going to be acquiring this JDE Peet's, right, for $18 billion. So that is also a coffee business. Their coffee exposure is going to go up, I don't want to say exponentially, but it's going to go up in a salient way. So I think it's worth being aware of these coffee-related headwinds. That being said, other aspects of the business, not bad here. We did have that year-over-year increase in net income, in-line EPS, revenue up year-over-year and beating estimates. So the report itself is not bad. I think it's more the headwinds that could be of concern.
Hey, let's talk about crypto. Your boy Joey Options has been in and out of IBIT all day, and there's a reason for that, because, well, crypto was definitely moving on the weekend, so leading cryptocurrencies rallied alongside, of course, equities Sunday night as optimism grew, Joey, around a potential U.S.-China trade deal. I hate this. I hate the fact that Bitcoin is still a risk asset like equities, but the fact of the matter, it is.
It's
and
100%.
we see this all the time. Why the hell is Bitcoin moving on minerals, right? So, yeah, that's my little angry rant for the day. Overall, crypto market climbed about 3% or 3.1% in 24 hours, up to 3.9 trillion again. The crypto fear and greed index, as we often talk about, moved from fear to neutral, signaling a growing risk appetite after weeks of cautious trading. Bitcoin trading volume jumped, Joey, 73%, with $225 million in liquidations across leveraged short positions. Again, leverage, very much an issue with Bitcoin price action, as we've been seeing over the last little while, as you know, some people have been getting squeezed, both up and down. Ethereum saw a 9% increase in daily transactions, suggesting, renewed momentum in the smart contracting activity. And then, we've got analyst commentary here. Dan Crypto Trades, he noted BTC is forming an 8% mini uptrend with a strong open interest, suggesting institutional positioning. You've got a C1 crypto analyst highlighting ETH's bullish structure, but warned of a bearish fakeout if the token closes below 45.25. It is below that right now, certainly 42.17. Both analysts, though, agree, Joey, that crypto's macro correlation to risk assets remains strong as traders track the Fed and the trade headlines. We're expecting, of course, the FOMC meeting this week, and widely expected to get a rate cut.
Yeah, that's essentially what I was about to bring up there, Sharif. On the previous cut, we were expecting a little bit more of a pop, right? But then when the government shut down, boom, you get that rally, and we're like, oh yeah, October, and they're like, see you later. But I think that we'll be okay. Honestly.
It is October now, though.
We're back
all-time highs, Joey.
On
the NQ
yeah. Never mind. We like crypto, man. We're talking crypto right now.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. But yeah, no, in all seriousness, I think. I mentioned this before. This was a beautiful signal. Just going off of the technicals, guys, I liked it a lot. And you can see that we're up about 12,000, 13,000 from those levels. This FOMC meeting, is this going to be the one that we were looking for? You get that rate cut, and then you get a rally within the whole space itself. So Ethereum, or is the market currently pricing it in? And we don't want this garbage out. We get this garbage out of here. We don't want, we have the market pricing in, but what we don't want is that they price it in now, and then come that actual meeting, for some reason the exuberance is gone, and they're like, yeah, we don't really like it as much. I like the potential fake out, but if we do break through this resistance zone at 43,000 or 4,300, we'll call it, and sit on top, I like our chances for a push higher. I want to get involved in some Bitcoin, so we'll go back to BTC USD leading into the FOMC meeting. So again, I think today is going to be my opportunity to get into it at 65 bucks. I mean, the all-time high on IBIT is around $71. We have 126 on Bitcoin, so we're 10K off of that roughly, and anything can happen overnight. It usually, I find that, Sharif, I don't know how you've noticed it, I'm sure you might agree with me on some point, is that with strong American sessions, usually leads to a strong Asian session in Bitcoin, and then that's when you see the move in the post market, just like a steady, slower grind higher. So yeah, I like that. I'm gonna be going some contracts here on IBIT, whether it be relatively soon or near the end of the day. I just want to have some exposure leading into FOMC.
I agree with that. All right, Adair, risk asset crypto moving up over the weekend. What's your take?
I've said this a couple times here, and I think what makes crypto kind of tricky in this regard is it seems to be whatever it wants to be whenever it wants to be. So it was a safe haven when the shutdown began, right? We had that. We are at least reviewing it as potentially a safe haven. Then now it's also viewed as a risk asset. And then I also find what's interesting too is it really kind of depends on the day if we will get these crypto-related equities to trade with BTC or with the NASDAQ, the SPY, et cetera, right? So I think the easier answer is not necessarily that Bitcoin is still being, or crypto in general is still being viewed as a risk asset, but more that I think it's trying to find its place in the world. And I think it's very clear that the equities that are related to it are responding in kind. Now, I think one other catalyst for crypto this week, more for the crypto space than BTC or Ethereum in and of themselves, we will have earnings from two of the largest crypto-related tickers, and by that I mean in terms of that are, I guess, being watched by investors. Those will be MSTR and Coinbase, both of which are coming with their reports after the bell on Thursday. So I think some short-term catalysts on watch here for crypto. And I think if we get some shutdown resolution, it'll be really interesting to see how Bitcoin reacts, because that might be the litmus test for if we're viewing it right now anyway as a risk asset or as a safe haven.
Let's go on to Chinese ADRs up nicely. So I'm just going to show this Assassino super quick. This is my Chinese ADRs watch list. You'll notice there are two red names. That piece of shit Li Auto is down 1.5%, and Zeekr is the only other one that's down 2.4%. Everything else in Greensville there, Katina, man. And there's a reason for that whole thing. I had to dunk on it, Neil. Come on, man. I got rinsed on it a little bit. I can take a little victory lap on Li Auto. So we got data today out of China. China's industrial profits, jumped 21.6% year over year in September, marking the strongest growth the country's had since November 2023. Not a moment too soon. This follows, of course, a 20.4% gain in August, extending a powerful rebound driven by Beijing's crackdown on price wars. For the first 9 months of 2025, total industrial profits only grew 3.2%. Now they're growing 20.4 in August and 21.6 in September. So yeah, if you're a trend following trader, this is definitely a trend to keep an eye out on. The rebound signals what analysts are saying, the policy tightening on excessive competition, which has helped stabilize the margins for these companies despite global trade pressures. You'll recall that there was a race to the bottom by these Chinese companies, specifically in the EV sector, where they all kept undercutting each other, and that obviously eroded margins, much to the chagrin of the Chinese regulator, who basically scolded those companies for said race to the bottom, and it looks like they have heeded that those calls. So Joey, we got a sector breakdown here, whether you're looking at manufacturing profits up 9.9%, utilities up 10.3%, the mining sector though down sharply, Joey, 29.3%, reflecting a weaker commodity price and slowing construction. You know, it was definitely a good report for China, and some of these Chinese ADRs kind of show that.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we talk about Alibaba, PDD, and some of the other names, Trump Coin is up 20% on the day. If anybody was curious about that, I know a lot of people in the chat were mentioning it here. So I just pulled it up on a daily, on an intraday chart, guys. Yeah, and it's up bigly today, Sharif. There's Trump Coin. Shout out to my boy who bought around $50 or so.
Oh,
great idea.
Hold on, you bought Trump Coin?
He did, yeah. yeah. I mean, at $50.
What in giggles, man. We should have done that.
Well, I mean, you can still get in. You're still around the lows there, Sharif. I don't think it'd be too bad.
Joey?
$7.
$7?
Yeah, and shout out to I would love to say.
That's a hell of a lower high.
Yeah, he's like, no, it's it, bro. This is it. I'm like, yeah, all right, have fun losing all your money. And sure enough, yeah, I'm like, get out of here with that stuff there. No, but in all seriousness, as for Alibaba, for those who are involved with Trump Coin, yeah, it's complete corruption in my opinion. But no, for Alibaba, guys, you can see that from 192 all the way down to 157. You get down 18%. I don't know. She laughed. That was a cackle almost there.
Squealing, cackle.
Yeah, something going on. But again, guys, we know about some of the ADRs like PDD. I like PDD personally, especially off of these lows. The price action would say otherwise, but bro, what's going on here, man? There's a lot of footsies here, man.
Joey, man. I'm just chilling, bro.
Here.
I'm not doing anything.
Right, easy. Yeah, all right, whatever, man, whatever. No, seriousness. No, PDD, not too bad of a look. 123 off of that bounce. April lows. Again, a nice rally, $86. You're up 57%. So these ADRs, you know you're at risk of the overnight movement. Just be cautious of that.
All right, Adara, it was a decent report mostly here. There are some obvious weaknesses in the mining sector specifically for China. What do you make of this whole thing?
Well, I think one thing, too, is if you zoom, when I kind of see this, when I zoom out at first, 21.6% year-over-year growth in September, that's obviously incredible. But knowing that we already had 20.4% gain in August, now I don't think that makes it look worse, but I actually think it makes it look a little bit less outlier, which potentially a good thing here. So I think that's certainly something to be aware of. It's not like we have this random burst of growth. We actually have, looks like 2 consecutive months of growth. So I do want to mention that as well. Which is on these notes here, but just something I think that is worth emphasizing. And obviously this is quite significant when you compare where, like, again, as mentioned here, in the first 9 months of 2025, total industrial profit increase of 3.2%, which would theoretically include these gains in August and September, right? So if this is a turnaround, that'd be pretty significant. I think we'll probably have to wait and see a little bit more data before we can say that definitively, but I think it certainly seems like a good start. That GDP, though, for Q3, probably still an issue. Either way, Hang Seng and the CSI 300 index both up on the day by more than 1%. And like a lot of the sectors we'll be naming right now, these Chinese ADRs are absolutely going to be on watch today and this whole week as we await, I guess, an adjustment here of trade tensions between the U.S. and China. Back to you.
All right, Adara, you're getting a super chat here from Adam James. He says, Adara, DVLT has news again. Love this long term. Anything for Adam James on DVLT?
I'll look into it. Give me 2 seconds here.
All right, so we can let that.
I actually do know the news. I know the news from last week. So last week they did have some news. They entered here into a deal with Wellgistics, which weirdly involved, for some reason, blockchain. So they're going to introduce this pharmacy chain for prescription tracking. Then we also today had a new update to that agreement. Wellgistics entering into a software as a service, or a SaaS agreement with DataVault to start this development of the manufacturer to patient blockchain enabled smart contracts. So again, it's really just an update of the previous story involving, for some reason, prescriptions and blockchain with DVLT. The other company here is going to be WGRX. That's the news.
All right, Ahmed, I'm looking at OUST. I don't know if you're asking me about OUST, Ahmed, on an intraday basis or a daily. If you're asking me about a daily, it's definitely locked in a bit of a trend here. It looks like generally 35 or 36, I should say, to the upside. You get a couple of breaks of that $36 level, but have a look. You know, generally you are holding below it, below it, and then to the downside, you've got support at around 27.5, 28, give or take. If you're asking me intraday on the 5 on OUST, it's definitely not for me because it's trading below VWAP, Ahmed. 37.75, it'll have to go above that. Otherwise, it just doesn't fit under my system. Maybe you can trade it a bit of a better way, but certainly not for me intraday. So let me know exactly what you mean by that, Ahmed. Otherwise, we'll go on to this Amazon story, which is expanding, Joey. Their EU footprint with 1.4 billion euros being invested in Hollanda, the Netherlands. So let's talk about this. They want to invest 1.4 billion euros in the Netherlands over the next 3 years. The investment will benefit both AWS, its cloud services, of course, and its e-commerce operations, Katina, man, because they want to expand logistics and their cloud capabilities. This marks Amazon's biggest financial commitment to the Netherlands since it launched in 2020. What does that even mean? The company wasn't in the Netherlands before 2020? I need to look that up. Currently, about 4,500 Dutch SMEs sell or on Amazon, with nearly 90% exporting products internationally to about 170 countries. Amazon aims to deepen its collaboration with Dutch enterprises through AWS technology and marketplace tools, Joey. So Amazon on the day, where are we at? We're up about 1.4%.
Yep.
You know, not a bad day for Amazon. What's your look?
No, I mean, Sharif, when I opened my eyes, I was taking a look at Amazon. Last week, I was swinging it. Again, this is what my spiel on just you have to be thankful for the profits that you take. But yeah, sure enough, it gaps up to 228. That was the first thing I read this morning, a $1.6 billion investment. I think that there's still a weight on the e-commerce shoulder right now. And once that's lifted, once all this China tariff gets sorted out, it's going to be just fine. But what we really got going on for Amazon is AWS. Now getting into the pharmaceuticals, opening up the kiosks as well too. Zoox is in the pipeline, still not going to be profitable for some time. But for me, it's AWS. I want to see what that cloud growth is coming in, and most definitely the forecast as well too. The guidance is going to be extremely important. But there's investiture in that country. The Netherlands isn't too bad, Sharif. I like it considering it's gapping the stock up. But for me personally, I think that this thing will be performing significantly better once that tariff turmoil or tantrum is really started to get sorted out. You're still down about 10, a little bit less than 10%, Sharif. I'm going to call it 7.5. Okay. roughly. But once that deal is made, 6.5 there, I saw it was close. Once that deal is made, watch out for this name, because what other cloud providers do we have making all-time highs? We have Azure. After the previous report, went on a monster run. We had Google, after the antitrust was settled, monster run, striking deals left, right, and center. So watch out for AWS to continue to grow, regardless of that outage. As it's surprising, like the stock started to climb higher after that outage, which is insane. You would have thought the polar opposite, considering what we've seen, what happened with CrowdStrike. No, boom, AWS, a different beast. I like it. The tariffs get sorted out, you're off to the races in AMZN.
All right, it reports on the 30th of September, so make sure to catch that with us. It's likely going to be, it is an aftermarket release. I think it usually comes out
30th of October or September?
Oh, sorry, September, my mistake.
No,
of course, I meant October. The 30th, so in 3 days. All right, Adara, AMZN looking to throw some money into the Netherlands.
So I did look into this. I didn't hear if you guys figured that out yet, because again, it's kind of hard to hear up here. But Amazon, I looked into it, so they expanded their Amazon.nl, or their Netherlands products, in 2020, but they first launched on a very, very limited basis in 2014 with an ebook shop, and then they apparently, quote, many Dutch-speaking customers have been shopping for physical products since 2016, and that's according to Amazon's website. So it seems like it was a very, very tame launch until 2020, which is when they expanded operations. They're going to expand operations more. I just wanted to cover that. But yeah, I mean, in terms of AMZN, I think biggest story this week is going to be earnings. Until then, wait and see. I do have an infographic planned on X at TTV Research. It'll be done very shortly with regards to AMZN. Definitely check that out. But yeah, I think honestly, like, it seems like their Dutch market is still pretty small, relatively speaking. I don't see this as being a huge needle mover. Again, though, earnings should be good.
I'm just looking at what percentage did AWS grow at last earnings? Because I know they're slowing down a little bit. I think
I'm pretty sure it was like 13 or something.
It was something like that, right? It was 17.5% according to Perplexity. That's Q2 of 2025, 30.9 billion in revenue. The reason I'm even talking about that is because we've been seeing some of the smaller names. I'm specifically talking about Google Cloud. Catch up a little bit in terms of growth rate. Not the size. AWS is still king, followed by Azure, Azure or whatever, however the hell you say it. And it's not that far away. It's not a distant second, Joey. They're actually quite close. So I'd like to see the comparables. I think AWS and Azure are more comparable in terms of size than Google Cloud, which is still third. But let's also give credit where credit is due. Oracle is making a move as a distant fourth, mind you, with respect to kind of cloud computing size, right? We're not talking about the Neo cloud. We're not talking about the Core Weaves and the new AI cloud. We're talking about the normal old cloud computing, really without that AI bend.
So and I mean, you have to take into consideration as well, too, that Oracle is getting some of Google's backlog.
Well said.
Right?
Well said. So we know that, and they made very clear that they have a huge backlog going into 2030. So that's really what I kind of wanted to point that out for. Let's go on to the next story, though. Of course, chip stocks, as you probably were able to tell, chip stocks, for the exception of two, Pi, which was huge last week, and Micron. Everything positive on the day. If I can show this over here. What a move for semis. Again, only Micron, which actually got an upgrade today, and I think got close to all-time highs, down 0.47, and then Pi Impinj, which is kind of a pseudo cloud name, down 1%, but that one was a monster last week. So let's talk about what's going on over here. U.S. chip stocks jumped in pre-market trading after the U.S. and Chinese officials, of course, outlined a framework for a potential deal over the weekend. President Trump commented, "I've got a lot of respect for President Xi, and I think we're going to come away with a deal." According to President Trump, we had the likes of NVIDIA, SMCI, AMD, Broadcom, all decidedly green here in the pre-market, not to mention ARM, Taiwan Semi, Intel, Qualcomm with its own headline, which is up 11 4/5, but substantially down from the 20% that it was up earlier. Of course, the potential U.S.-China trade agreement is being viewed as a positive catalyst for semiconductor supply chains, which have been hampered by tariffs and export restrictions. Analysts here are suggesting that easing trade barriers could boost U.S. chip exports to China, especially in AI and data center hardware segments. I'm going to throw this question to you, Joey. We've been seeing the Chinese dissuade their tech companies from buying NVIDIA's latest chip, we're talking about, or the China-specific chip, about the H20.
Yep.
They were dissuading them so much that the B30A, which was a new China-specific chip based on the Blackwell architecture, was supposed to be delivered, samples of course, to the Chinese by the end of September. It's now almost the end of October, and they haven't delivered it. Do you think a possible deal here between the two leaders reignites Chinese demand for American silicon?
To a certain extent, I think, right? Because we know that President Xi wants to become as independent and not as reliant on China as possible. But as for the H20 comment there, Sharif, we know that a lot of the Chinese companies actually got the license to acquire it. But then they're like, bang, we're the government. Xi's like, no, you're not getting those. We want something better, considering they have their Huawei chip that they say operates as good as that H20 chip, which is really important. As for the deal, I think there's going to be something along those lines regarding chips. What is it going to be? I have no specific idea, but it will probably end up in them grabbing some of the GBs, or the lesser version of the GBs. Right. And sure enough, see how it goes off of that. We already know the Huawei chips are only good for inference, not training. So they may need something to kind of amplify it and take that next step. I think there's going to be something in the works with the chips. For sure.
It's really interesting to see that, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to string as many of these things together. And they're saying by putting more of them together, they're able to somewhat mimic NVIDIA's latest chips, but with the
Huawei chip.
Yeah, they're trying, but they're stringing like a prohibitive number of these things together to get what, NVIDIA could get maybe out of like 20,000, they're getting out of 150,000. I'm just throwing any numbers out there. I have no idea if that's accurate or not, but they're just stringing more of these things together. So they are able to catch up. All right, Adara, semiconductors all quite strong on the day.
Yeah, I honestly, I've said this many, many times, but I think we're definitely to catch-22 with the US and China unless and until they can get some kind of, I guess, come to an impasse on this trade issue. And I mean, hey, maybe we can. Maybe this is the day where we decide, or Thursday, I guess, is the day that we decide, okay, hey, we're going to kind of come to some type of agreement, because I think NVIDIA certainly, or at least CEO Jensen Huang has made it very clear that the company is certainly aided by having that China sales, being able to sell and transact in China. So I think not having that access, right now it hasn't hurt the company, but it could eventually start to have that impact. So I think it makes sense to solve this issue. That being said, I'm at the point now where, as Sharif mentioned, even if we do resolve the issue, that does not mean that China's going to go back on all of the innovation they've made with regards to tech. And with that in mind, I do think that Jensen Huang was not incorrect when he's kind of implied in the past that through the U.S. having these export controls, as noble as they may be, they've actually helped China rather than hurt China. They've actually helped China build their own chips and their own backlog, their own war chest, if you will. And now the U.S. is maybe, I don't think the U.S. is going to be like left in the dust anytime soon when it comes to chips, but I do think it's concerning the degree to which China's been able to catch up, and I don't think they'll stop even if there is a deal at this point.
Thank you. So I actually heard something. I was doing some research. Obviously, I hold ASML. Yeah. And also I was doing a little bit more research as to why ASML is so important to China. It's not just ASML, dude. The company that ASML gets the mirrors off, that they reflect the laser, comes from a German company. Oh, so really? It's not just the Dutch who have a stranglehold. It's the Dutch and the Germans. Apparently, this company that makes the mirrors almost impossible to replicate what they're doing so far. Oh, really? Yeah, so it's two pieces in the supply chain, not just the ultraviolet lithography machines from ASML, but the mirrors that ASML is using from this German company. Apparently, the Chinese are having trouble replicating it on both ends. So there's a bit more to those companies' moats than meets the eye. And so we'll have to wait and see whether they can obviously do that or not. But they, as I mentioned, they had success, Joey, stringing these things together, and we'll see if they continue to do that. Zeiss Optics, thank you, Carl. I appreciate that, Carl, for bringing that to my attention. I had forgotten the name.
Can I make a point
Absolutely,
here?
Bro.
What do you think would you say LA is the most advanced city in the United States?
LA?
Yeah.
I don't know, brother. I have no idea.
What would you think the most advanced city is in?
I have no clue. Most
from
like
from a
traffic lights.
No, from a technology standpoint.
I'm going to go San Fran. Why don't we go San Fran? Because of Silicon Valley, right there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's essentially the answer I was looking for.
All right.
All right. Now, I had friends that traveled to China, and they say it is light years
It's
ahead.
insane.
Light years
It's
ahead.
insane.
So what makes us think that they won't be able to catch up in this race?
Look, brother, I don't bet against the Chinese.
Yeah, no.
I just don't, because I've seen it all play out before. But I'm North American. I champion North America.
Absolutely.
I love where I live.
But we can't deny the fact
we can't be blind to it.
that those guys have wicked things over there that we wouldn't even dream of. But they also have a substantial more amount of people.
They're ridiculous. People, Joe. Let's talk about Citi lifting Micron's price, guys, to 275. I mean, look. Micron's the only negative microchip name, but it was up nicely in the pre-market when we got this headline. So it's selling off a bit now. Looks like on some profit taking. But here's what, by the way, Micron is by far the best performing microchip semiconductor name, even ahead of NVIDIA. It's up 160% year to date. Sorry, AMD is what I was comparing it to. AMD's up 112. MU is up 160, so by far the strongest name, followed by Lam Research, LRCX up 118%. So, you know, the fact that we're down today feels like some profit taking. But Citi's Christopher Danley, he raised Micron's price target from 240 to 275 and reaffirmed the buy rating already on there. He sees unprecedented strength in DRAM pricing, and he's forecasting a 25% jump in Q4 relative to Q3, marking the largest quarter-over-quarter increase since the 1990s. Neil, I used to have 8 megabytes of RAM in my computer at the time, okay? But now we're talking about terabytes and gigabytes, so, living large if you had 8 megabytes of RAM at the time. No, I'm dating myself. Citi expect Micron's earning to climb 20% quarter-over-quarter. And here's what's happening. AI boom obviously is driving demand. Surging demand for AI data center hardware continues to absorb the global memory inventory, especially as high bandwidth DRAM, HBM it's called, is used in NVIDIA and AMD's chips. And listen to this, Joey.
Yeah.
Okay, the DRAM spot price, okay, obviously we don't know what that is because we don't deal in that business, but the spot price was up 50% in 2 weeks because of growing AI infrastructure demand. When you're hot in RAM world, but when there's a glut of inventory, there's a glut. Because we've seen Micron take a dive. We saw SK Hynix take a dive when there was too much inventory. Now, all of a sudden, there's not enough.
Now there's not enough. Yeah, I mean, that's it. It's just a basics of supply and demand.
56K modem. Get it, Frank Trades.
A lot of people are putting in some interesting points here, Sharif. I want to read one of them. Somebody said there's a big difference between flashy lights and something else that I wanted to read, but I missed that one. Anyways, aside from that, let's get into Micron. I mean, man, this name has been on a big time run as of late. Let's pull up it from a daily standpoint and see what we got going on. Like, look at this. This is insane. From those April lows, boom, April 4th, where we're currently trading at 250%, brother.
Ridiculous, man.
That's a big time move. Again, supply and demand is the exact same thing that we're experiencing here in Toronto with the facts of hotel rooms for the Jays game. The one inside the Rogers Center going for 25,000.
It was ridiculous.
So,
dude, those look pretty good. Have you seen how like they're set up? They're like different levels. So the level where the window where you look onto center field is higher than the bed. And so it's like, it's like actually it's pretty cool.
That's cool. I mean, but I wonder how many people you're allowed in that room because 25,000 bucks.
I bet you there's probably bare restrictions on the games. Neil says he knows it's at least a dozen because he's done it before. He's done it a couple times. To make it worth it, you got to bring your friends there, says Neil. Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, that makes sense. No, but as for Micron and all these chip names, they've been on big time runs. There's no debating that whatsoever. So.
All right, let's, I remember a couple, really? Dijon mustard, really? I did not know about that. Neil, look at Dijon Mustard's comment. I don't remember that at all. But let's go on to Boeing because it's not a bad look. Yeah, that was a thing? I didn't know about that. Oh, Neil's coming in hot. Okay, he's got a story. Here we go.
Oh, 100%. Like, anybody could look this up. Dijon Mustard, you're 100% true. During the 92 World Series, let's just say there was a couple that probably were really excited to make a baby during the World Series and have a World Series baby. So they got caught, and and the thing about it is, everyone knew they left the windows open, so anybody that was at the game could see.
Are you kidding?
Oh yeah.
They left. Oh, come on.
But like, think,
bro.
come on, like that was, and it's not by accident
Thank
either.
God there were
You
no
could look
high
it up.
definition cameras back then.
Yeah,
though,
you could look it
what I
up.
mean? Like,
So I
there
don't
we
think
go.
anyone's pulling that off anymore, because my guess is, oh shoot, I forgot to tell the story.
Go.
I saw something at game 2. I've been going to baseball games my entire life, right? And I've never seen anyone try this before, where like the beer guy was going up and down the aisles and he's making a sale. So he puts the bag down, right? And as he puts the bag down, some dude tries to jack 2 tall boys.
What?
Out of it.
Oh.
Now, it's stupid enough to do on a normal day, but given that it costs like a grip just to get into the World Series, this dude got ejected, like tossed from the game because he's trying to grab a couple of free beers.
He was obviously a few deep. Neil,
well,
if he was
dude,
doing
you
that.
probably paid a G just to be in the building, and he's gonna get tossed for that. I've never seen stupidity like that again. Like, it's just, I don't know what some people are thinking, man. But yeah, he had to go. Had to go.
I appreciate you. But this is actually a good story to have, man. I got conceived at the World Series. You know what I mean? No, bro. I mean,
I'm like, yeah. I mean, maybe
man.
I did, but at the end of the day, because it's October, right? Yo,
What did you want to point out?
I was gonna say, wait, if you see what I was doing on over here.
This guy, bro, this guy. All right,
That's right.
let him work.
Let's
talk about Boeing, Joey, because the strike is dragging into the 13th week, and workers rejected a new offer over the weekend. So we know that roughly 3,200 Boeing defense workers, not in the commercial game, but in the defense side of things, working in St. Louis, have rejected the company's latest contract proposal, extending the strike into its 13th week. The International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, IAM, said Boeing, quote, failed to address workers' needs, close quote, seeking higher retirement contributions and stronger bonuses. Boeing had offered a 5-year offer with similar prior proposals, including a $3,000 stock grant, a $1,000 retention bonus, and then higher wage growth in later years. No specifics as to what that was. We already know, Joey, the strike has begun to delay the delivery of the F-15EX fighter jets. I don't know what the EX variant is. I have to look that up. To the U.S. Air Force, of course. Boeing insists its mitigation plan has contained most production impacts, though analysts expect further delivery slowdowns if the strike persists. Boeing, for their part today, where are they at here, Joey? Are they up or down on the day? Just trying to look at this right now. We're up 0.4%. What do you think about this? I mean, it's not really moving the needle for the price right now, but kind of not a good look to have going forward.
No, especially, I mean, it's not a good look. After the FAA approved that they can produce a couple more planes a year, Sharif, which is
Right?
four, interesting. Yeah, a whopping 4 of them. I mean, the backlog must be insane. I've said it. I'm not even going to repeat myself anymore on what I think about Boeing, but again, still slightly in some turbulence here, guys. You can see 211 is that base formed. You want to punch through that 225 level before you can take that next leg higher. Is that the all-time highs? I don't know, man. What is it there on Boeing? 400? No way. Is that correct? Yeah, is this peak COVID right there? No, I mean, yeah, 19. Okay, that's very interesting. Sorry, just rambling on.
Yeah,
but you're still 50% off of those all-time highs, Sharif, and there's no split. I want Boeing to do significantly better, considering, I say once again, that they hold a monopoly, essentially, on the commercial airspace. I know this is regarding the fighter jets, but I think they just need to do a little bit better, in my opinion.
All right, Adara, 13th week now of the Boeing Defense Department with workers on strike rejecting the latest deal. Not much in the way, of course, for Boeing's price action, just up 0.46.
Yeah, get it right, Kelly. Get these these defense workers here in the door and talk those contracts. But yeah, I think not much of a price movement here. I'm sure we'll be talking about Boeing on Wednesday with their earnings for the quarter. They report Wednesday before the bell. And I must again remind you, Kelly Ortberg, not only is the stock up during his tenure, though this is not been updated, it'll update it right before the earnings. But I mean, the other thing here is, too, he could be the first CEO of Boeing to not resign into disgrace or be an interim CEO or have a situation where he is later called the worst CEO in American history. So, I mean, sure, that's a lot of pressure to put on one man, but so far his tenure's been pretty good, these strikes aside, because the strikes have been a bit of a continued issue for Boeing, and that's continued under Kelly Ortberg's tenure, but hey, he's been there just over a year. These earnings reports, I think it'll be really nice to see if we can get some profit from Boeing. Not sure what analysts are expecting for it, but either way, I think BA more likely to be on watch, much like the Amazon story with earnings than with the story today.
Tesla up 5.83%. Knocking on the door 460. Joey, when we were talking about this in the pre-market, we were knocking on the door 440. And now we're up almost $20 off that. We're up actually $25.33 on the day. And here's what we're talking about here. Cantor Fitzgerald boosting the price target on Tesla to $510, citing long-term growth opportunity. So let's talk about what analyst Andreas Shepard said about Tesla. Well, as I mentioned, he raised the price target to $510. That comes from $355, a nice boost there, reiterating the overweight rating he already had on the stock. The move reflects, though, increased confidence, guys, in Tesla's multi-year expansion roadmap. Specifically, what he's citing here is energy storage, autonomy, and robotics. And that's something we've been talking about ad nauseum here on the show. So let's talk about a little bit more about it. Tesla confirmed that volume production of key new programs, specifically the Cybercab, the semi-truck, and the Megapack 3 are all on schedule for full year 2026 production. The company also expects Optimus, their humanoid robot, to start production and operation by next year, signaling, of course, deeper automation ambitions. These initiatives are Tesla's next wave of long cycle growth, really depending on when they start. But this is what we're talking about when we're talking about the future valuations of Tesla with Elon Musk's pay package. I'm sure you guys have looked at that, 5 trillion, 8 trillion. They're not going to get there, guys, selling cars at 17% gross margins. It's just not going to work out mathematically. Their CapEx, Joey, this was what I noticed last earnings call. I hadn't heard from Tesla on an earnings call a major announcement about the expansion of CapEx. And this is one that really stood out to me because we've been hearing it from all the other Mag 7 names, except Apple, of course. Right? Tesla disclosed plans for a significant increase in capital expenditures over the next 2 years. Cantor Fitzgerald's models, they're saying about $9.2 billion in CapEx for 2025 and about $12 billion CapEx for 2026. Those are Cantor's numbers, not Tesla's numbers, specifically to primarily fund factory expansion, as well as, of course, bless you, Ram, AI infrastructure. Cantor also remains very bullish on Tesla's ecosystem model, emphasizing, Joey, cross-segment synergies. They're talking about FSD and Cybercab and, pivotal for autonomous revenue. They're also talking about energy storage and megapacks, which are contributing margins steadily here. And then the Optimus robot, dude, the long-term optionality with AI-driven labor automation. If we start seeing these things in Tesla's factories, I'm assuming we'll see them in Tesla's factories before we'll see them in any other factory. It's a matter of time till you start seeing them in other factories.
Yeah, I mean, and then what does that mean? What does that mean for margins, right? Like, we're going to get an expansion, right? It's unfortunate it's going to come at the expense of people's jobs.
Did you hear about Amazon over the weekend? How they plan not to hire 160,000 people that they would have hired anyway because
of the robots?
Because of automation?
I thought they were grabbing some for, I thought they were grabbing like 250,000 or something along those lines, seasonal workers.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're not hiring, but I'm just saying like less than they were going to hire.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the road that we're going down. Sharif, how many years do you think it's going to be until a vehicle with a steering wheel is classified as a vintage one?
Ooh, vintage.
Yeah, because I think at some point everything is going to be
10, 15?
10,
15?
You think so?
Years when we'll start seeing, like.
I think a little bit longer than that, to be fair, right? I think probably another 15, 20 years, I think there will be no more vehicles with steering wheels. It will be all autonomous, and I think that's just the route that's going. And who's going to be at the forefront of this? Most likely Tesla. Why? Because they have the production capabilities. It costs Waymo $230K to make one vehicle. Better on the software, harder on the hardware, tougher on the hardware. They will always exist, but I think the majority of people will own autonomous vehicles. Why? Because so many people commute into the city, Fabian, right? Some people, yeah, exactly. So many people have like hour-plus commutes. A lot of people don't want to sit behind a steering wheel and drive. It's just the nature of the beast. Individuals who have FSD now are like, I use it everywhere I go.
Yeah,
I don't even want. Yeah, it's like I don't want to touch.
I'm seeing videos of people like really liking 14 FSD version
Right?
14.
Right?
I mean,
And so
very few interventions, Joey.
I think it's only a matter of time until the point where people are like, I don't even need to drive anymore. It's just type it into the GPS and you do your own thing. That's why Tesla is probably going to. This might be the hardest take of all time. If this is going to be the case, it might be the most, from a market cap standpoint, the most valuable company on the planet.
All right, there's a very good, interesting video. Fabian was just pointing this out to me in my ear. It's about the new version 14 FSD in a Costco parking lot, driving around on its own for half an hour to try to find a parking spot. Obviously, it's probably not good that it took it half an hour, but it's able to see spots that the human driver can't see, because it's got a bit of a top view there. So I think Adara has breaking news. So Adara, give us a breaking news, and then feel free to comment on Tesla.
Yeah, I have comments on Tesla, so I'm happy to give that. Keep an eye here in NEE. I'll see if I can pull up the chart on the other platform here. NEE having a catalyst with Google shortly after PayPal and Google had a headline here. So Fox reporting that Google and NextEra Energy, or NEE, are going to be partnering to reopen an Iowa nuclear plant. So nuclear catalyst here for NEE and GOOGL. Again, Fox reporting that NextEra NEE is reportedly going to be partnering with Google to reopen an Iowa plant. Now I want to talk here about Tesla, specifically this woman, Robin Denham. Now you might be like, Adara, this doesn't have anything to do with the upgrade, but there was another thing with Tesla today that I think is absolutely worth discussing. I discussed it a little bit, a couple times today, but so Robin Denham, who is the chairperson of Tesla's board, she went on CNBC today during an interview, and she made it very clear that it could be dire for Tesla, at least in her opinion, if shareholders do not vote to approve Elon Musk's $1 trillion pay package. So in her opinion, quote, without Elon, Tesla could lose significant value as our company may no longer be valued for what we aim to become. So again, really continuing here to be about future valuation concerns rather than what the company's actually valued at, as Sharif just mentioned there. But yeah, either way, it seems like a lot of valuation questions for Tesla are going to continue to come up, especially ahead of that shareholder meeting again. November 6th is the day for this, and it seems like the stakes, at least in the opinion of Tesla's board, are very high. I think the Cantor Fitzgerald upgrade, just to touch on that a little bit, is super speculative, but I mean, it's not more speculative than some of these earnings calls comments, sorry, not sorry. So, I mean, take that how you will.
You know what's interesting? So Elon started railing against these proxy companies that vote on behalf of ETFs.
Oh, the ETFs.
Okay.
Yeah,
So they're like, so there's these companies, and they make the corporate governance assessments and analysis, and then they vote on behalf of the sort of the funds, let's call them funds, not ETFs, that hold Tesla's shares. So the funds themselves, so let's just say Fund A. It's a pool of my money, your money, Katina Man's money, everybody's money there, right? Not Katina Man's money, no.
Katina Capital, not
Katina Capital. So they actually don't make their own assessment on corporate governance issues. They're like, no, we're just going to hold everybody's money and make fundamental decisions. We're going to outsource the voting decisions to these voting proxies, and that's who Elon is furious with, because most of these voting proxies, or a lot of them, are actually telling, they're likely going to vote against his pay package. Yeah. And so what he's getting mad about is the separation of ownership and decision making by these funds. I mean, if I'm giving my money to a fund manager, why the hell is that dude or that woman not making the assessments on their own? What am I paying you for? I can just punch into Tesla myself. You see what I'm saying? And so he's getting so worked up about these voting proxies.
When does the vote have to be decided by?
I'm not sure. I think it's like this week or something like that.
Really?
On the first, November 1st. I'm not exactly sure, but that's November 6th, Adara says. Okay. Yeah, so it's like next week. But it's really interesting to see. I didn't even, number one, know these things existed. Number two, now that I know they existed, I want to understand why the fund manager is not doing their due diligence and actually outsourcing that kind of decision making. So
I mean, that's the apples and oranges, but isn't that what kind of like Fannie Mae and Freddie are? They just buy mortgages off of banks.
Yeah, I get that, but that's not the point. That's the point I'm making.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like why are they voting? Why is a different institution or body voting on behalf of the actual shareholders? Which is in this case the fund managers. Why are the fund managers not doing their homework? All right, Neil, I got one for you here, brother. Huntington Bank shares to acquire Cadence Bank in a $7.4 billion all-stock deal. So you got a buyout here, Neil. So Huntington Bank shares trading under HBAN announced plans to acquire Cadence Bank, which trades under CADE, and a $7.4 billion all-stock deal, signaling a new wave of regional bank consolidation. The only reason I'm bringing you this story is because regional banks were an issue last week, possibly with Zion Bancorp and some of the other issues that we talked about. Otherwise, I really wouldn't bring this. The deal is valued about $39.77 per Cadence share, and it will create a top 10 U.S. bank with about $276 billion in assets and about $220 billion in deposits. Huntington shares slipped about 3.5% in the pre-market, while Cadence gained about 5%. Let's see where they're both at right now. CADE, show yourself. Up 3.5%, but well off the highs. And HBAN, where are they at? They are down 3.6%. The expected closing, Q1 of 2026, of course, pending regulatory and shareholder approval, neither of which have been obtained. The strategic expansion here is that Huntington's geographic reach will now expand to 21 states, stretching from the Midwest to South Texas, key regions with faster economic growth, Joey. The acquisition, of course, reflects the broader trend of regional bank mergers fueled by President Trump's administration's deregulatory push and streamlined merger approvals, Joey. So not something that we typically look at all that much. Anything to say about this?
Yeah, I mean, Huntington Bank, I know Josh Brown was talking about this not too long ago. Yeah, and I mean, this is the only name. Maybe it wasn't in April or anything along those lines. It was definitely in the middle of the summer. So I'm surprised it didn't really get that push, but you might be out of it by now, but I highly doubt that. Probably just grabbing it a little bit more. But as for Huntington Bank, the regional scene is significantly different than what we experience here. You're from that $17 to where we're currently trading at. You're down 13% and headed towards some key support levels. I'd be keeping an eye out for that 15.25 level to snap, because if it does, there might be some more downside.
All right, Adara, anything to add to this story?
Not really. I think, as you mentioned, there was a bit of a concern here a couple of weeks ago now about these regional banks, but then we had some decent earnings reports, run-of-the-mill earnings reports here from names like Zion Bancorp, which is one of the names that was a concern here. I wonder if these regional bank concerns have subsided, at least for now, in which case, well, I'm not quite sure how big of a story this is, but as you said, given the recent interest there in these regional banks, certainly something to keep an eye on, because if these lending concerns increase, then I think this Cadence Bank acquisition here will be a lot more on watch. If we start to worry about another regional bank crisis, then maybe this acquisition comes a bit under fire. I don't know, I'm speculating at this point, but either way, as of right now, kind of a nothing burger in my opinion.
Talk about GME, only a couple of minutes left here, Joey. GameStop shares were up at least 7.5%, giving back basically almost everything, now up 1.89 after the White House's official X account reposted the retailer's viral message declaring, quote, the end of the console war. So what are they talking about here? The social media exchange. I can hear Fabian laughing. The social media exchange quickly trended online, featuring a stylized image of President Trump, amplifying engagement and sparking renewed interest, of course, in GameStop's stock. So the post marked a lighthearted shift in tone for GameStop, which referred to itself as the world's retail gaming and trading destination. So what are they talking about here, Joey? So GameStop's post referenced Microsoft's surprise announcement that it will release a remake of Halo Combat Evolved, previously an Xbox exclusive title, on Sony's PS5 in 2026, Joey. The move symbolizes a historic end to 2 decades of console rivalry as Microsoft and Sony open the door to cross-platform collaboration. Let's cut the crap.
I think that's great.
Is this to skirt antitrust regulations and a possible antitrust investment here? Because we had seen the European Union make that very specific case to Microsoft. They said, if you want to acquire Blizzard, your games are not going to allow it to be only on Xbox. You got to make them on PS5 as well. And all of a sudden, we're seeing them do it on their own. Is it kind of just getting ahead of the game?
Maybe. Hopefully. I think that's the case. I think that'll be great for both of the consoles. I do think that PS5 is a superior system.
Okay.
That's just me personally, right? And I think from a sales standpoint, it's proven as well too. But yeah, I think it's a step in the right direction for sure.
I like this. Let's cut the crap. Xbox lost. All right, Kinson, 21-21.
All right, guys, put it in the chat before we leave.
Boom.
PS5 or Xbox?
That's
Put it in the
crazy.
chat there. I'm putting mine in. Oh, I messed up. PS5 or Xbox? Let's see what we got going on.
I'm going to put PS5, just because you said PS5. I have no idea. I haven't played any of these in a long time.
That's
so
crazy. Yeah, PS5 is out all day. See, look at the complete domination here
PS5,
from PS5.
Yeah,
I mean,
there you go.
I mean, I used to be an Xbox guy, but yeah, I mean, there goes some Xbox.
Oh, this is getting crazy over
yeah,
here,
yeah, there we go. PS5.
All right, I'd
there we go.
give Adara an opportunity to chime in. Adara, do you have anything that you want to mention for GameStop?
Oh, very much so. So I don't know if you guys have seen the post. Here is the post. If you haven't seen it, I do want to show it here. White House power to the player. And they did literally repost the initial GameStop post, which I think is interesting. Now, this is honestly not super shocking here from the White House. This is the same account that posted, and I quote, "Nowhere in the Constitution does it say that we can't post banger memes." Dynamite emoji. So this is not, this is very much, I think, par for the course. But what I think is interesting is how GameStop's one kind of joking post, which is then reposted by the White House, led to this massive move in the stock. I think it's just kind of an interesting testament to how the market works sometimes. And I honestly am just going to kind of stand back and smile, because that's one of the things I really find interesting, specifically from a news perspective. You really never know what's going to move the market. In this case, who would have thought that Trump dressed as Halo would be it?
I got to tell you, that was like the second most important post by the White House Twitter account, because I told you on TikTok they use that Maui Wowie song as their background, which is absolutely hilarious. President Trump, I think he's in Malaysia, and he's like dancing to this.
Teaching people how to dance.
People, he's dancing, and they have that song in the background, which I found to be hilarious. Anyway, guys, it is 2:02:20.
Yeah.
And I got to weasel my way up to the big desk to do the afternoon rundown. Thank you, Joey, for being on.
Yeah, of course.